When you are a small business like us, one of the only ways that you can get the word out is promotional items, right?
Yep.
Like you need your T-shirts, you need your koozies, you need your van wrapped, you might need some flags, you might need a tent, you might need posters and deliverables and flyers. Well, we got the place for you.
Hittin Skins, that's HITTN skins.com. They actually have a showroom if you want to swing by their showroom right across from Camping World Stadium. But just go on their website. We are ordering some straw hats and some sun shirts that are getting printed by Hittin Skins.
Yes, sir.
And so we'll have those available soon. But Daniel's right. If you're looking for high quality promotional merch, and that's the key word, high quality.
Yeah.
Because if you have low quality garbage that you order online, and there's a lot of it.
We've done it.
Then no one wants to wear your shirt. Your stuff looks like garbage.
And they do it all, like screen printing, embroidery, all of the promotional items that you want. And they'll even work with you if you want to find something super creative or different. And they do everything. There's no middlemen. They're the guys. So you work with Hittin Skins. So, yeah, I mean, we're trying them out. You could try them out, too. And they're damn fine people. They do car wraps, too.
Yeah, full car wraps. Basically, if you have a small business or you need anything to promote, contact them. Go on their website. It's HITTN skins.com. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan, and we are back from vacation.
Yes, Ross McCoy's here. How you doing, Ross?
Hey, guys.
Crystal Van is here. How you doing, Crystal? One half of the Barbaric team.
We are live on Twitch and YouTube. Just search for @TomandDanLive. Come watch us.
I invited Crystal in to tell some stories from Sweden.
She doesn't need to be invited in. You know you can come and go as you please, right?
I think so.
As one of the owners, you're allowed
I feel
to.
like I should be invited.
You're allowed to just come and go as you please.
So let's get to it because we got a lot of stories to tell.
We do.
Daniel went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Where Maisie won her
You want to start with that? We can
dance
start there.
competition.
Yeah, so Maisie did. We can get that out of the way. She had made a goal for herself in 2024. She had won a national title, but did not get, or she had won a national championship, but did not win a title. Because to win a title, that's kind of like the complete package as far as I understand it as like a dance dad, you know. She was always very good with the technical aspects of dance, like pointing her toes, making sure that every move is perfect. But she gets caught in the resting bitch face sometimes, or, you know, like Daddy. You know, you get Daddy has a bit of a, you maybe poke your tongue out while you're editing kind of a face, right? Everybody knows what it's like to have a face that you do when you're, like, really concentrating. So her goal for 2025 was to try and not only be technically accurate, but to put that showmanship on top of it. You know, to work on they call it faces. Work on your faces. Work on your movements. In some cases, if you don't practice your faces, and Maisie has been doing it like a lot, the teacher will make you look into the phone, FaceTime the teacher, and make your faces. Like to get over that hump of having to know. You got it like...
I'd make the argument.
It's a good thing for her to practice at a young age, I think.
Yeah.
Though.
It gives you the balls to be able to kind of do, like, for instance, there's like, I'll give you a for instance, because it takes me a little bit to understand it. Like, neither me or Andrea are dancers, so we're kind of coming in blind, you know?
I'm trying to think of another sport where you could be insanely successful. Like, you sink every three-pointer. Like, you go out there and you're just, like, putting up 85 points a game in the NBA, but they're like, but I don't like the way his face looks when he's doing it.
You know what? I thought about that, too.
Yeah.
And
he looked like he was mad.
Yeah, he kind of frowned when he was putting up 85 on the board. I don't like that guy.
That's a woman. Yeah, change that to women's sports, though.
I think that was I think the reason for that, though, is because, like, they had to separate it because you could have somebody technical out there doing all the moves the best, but then you look at them and you're like, they look miserable.
Yeah,
right?
You're scoring them on not just their technical, like it's the outfit, the hair is part of it, the makeup.
Well,
it's
the
whole
complete package.
Yeah,
right.
So I get it.
So she made her goal this year in 2025 to not just be technical, but to also bring that, like, and I don't know what else. If I'm wrong on this, dance people weigh in. I'm not a dancer. This is just what I know that I'm good at. I'm a good showman.
Graceful.
I know I can perform, right? And I know that I can make faces that make people laugh, and I know I can make faces that make people think I'm having a good time. So that's basically what I told her is like, well, then you just got to practice it. So her goal was to add that showmanship to it, and damned if she didn't do it. She went out there, and not only was she the highest point total in her age division, 9 to 11, She, out of 140 girls, she was the highest score, and then she put those faces on it, and she got the big-ass Elsa crown and a trophy that is about a foot taller than me.
I saw that.
It is a massive we couldn't even bring it home. We had to get somebody to bring the trophy home. We couldn't fit it in the car.
Really?
So, but yeah, we're just like, well, I don't know. And she don't even care about it. I was like, what do you want to do with it? She's like, let's throw it in the creek. You know, it's like, she don't care about that trophy. Like, she don't give a damn about it. She just wants to dance. Like, all she wants to do is dance. I was like, what if you gotten 16th place? She'd be like, well, at least I placed.
Good for her.
Okay. Wow. You know, she's got a good attitude.
God,
so,
I wish I could have bet on her, because that would have been a sure thing.
Yeah, she did
100%.
good. I'm so proud of her, and without like going on and on, because I want to post about it a million times because I'm so freaking proud of her. But I cry all the time. Like, I think about it, I start crying. Watching her dance, I start crying. There's a video, I think I may have even sent it to some people, maybe even you, where it like you can see me watching it, and then it takes my breath away when I see her succeed.
Yeah,
awesome.
Like
it steals my life like a little bit. I die like in a good way.
Hey,
because it's you.
You know who can use Maisie's help with faces? Oh, Mr. You can't smile for pictures over here. Like, maybe she could teach him how to actually do that.
Thing. She doesn't. The faces don't come natural, right? She likes the technique.
Yeah,
she don't like the faces.
She could help this guy with her system of face improvement.
I mean, they have so many little things in common that drive me crazy. Like yesterday, she told me, she's like, "Daddy, you need to buy cowboyhatsunday.com."
Don't put that out there.
And then we're gonna. Oh yeah, I shouldn't say that.
That's how I feel. They always say things, and I'm like, "Shh."
Clippy, beep that out.
Yeah,
beep that out. We're definitely
like,
buying.
Daddy, you need to buy cowboyhatsunday.com, and we're going to start a website. I'm like, well, how are we going to make money on it? She's like, we'll figure that out.
We'll sell cowboy hats.
But anyway, so we went to Tennessee. We did a great job. Andrea and Maisie did a great job. I was the chef. So every night when they would come in, I was
like Raekwon is to the Wu-Tang Clan?
More like Cookie at a old cowboy campsite. You know,
every athlete needs a good meal.
You know what's funny is we did, and Andrea's kind of talking about this. Andrea was like, you know what we did, because I almost feel like she knows like how little I have to do with this, other than maybe giving her the genes to love performing. I'll take that. If somebody wanted to give me that, I'll take that. Everything else I'm going to give to Andrea and to Maisie. Like, I do very little. Like, who cooks a hamburger helper? Oh, that's real hard. A robot can do that. In a couple of years, a robot's they're just going to kick me right out the door. They're going to have their food robot cooking the food while she's dancing.
No, you make real hamburger helper though. You don't make box.
I don't make. Well, that's the thing is that Andrew was saying, is that I was providing healthier meals. Like we had, we're having some pork chops and rice, or having some, homemade hamburger helper. We're having some spaghetti with meat sauce instead of having to eat. And a lot of kids were there. Thousands of kids actually were eating just fast food around Pigeon Forge.
Yeah,
whatever's easiest.
And if you want to beat 100 or 140 different girls in your age division, you should probably be eating better stuff and going to bed at the right time. Another thing she does that drives me crazy, if I can just complain, is that her friends all invited her out to do stuff. They have the most mountain coasters I've ever seen. The alpine coasters that the Vans love, that the Vans taught the Dennises to love. So now we love alpine coasters. She wouldn't leave the place to go on any of it.
Why?
Because once we get home, she's like, no, I want to take my shower and I want to relax and get ready for tomorrow dance.
Oh, that's how you become the best.
You're right. You're not wrong.
That's what Olympians. I'm telling you.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But it does.
Yeah.
It's
Ignore
a little
distractions. Focus.
It is a little. And these are actual complaints. I'm not going to say them to her, but I'll gladly say them to you guys. I wouldn't have mind going up the street to the turquoise jewelry store to get my statement ring for my right hand to go with my biker look that I'm curating. But we didn't have any time.
And Pigeon Forge turquoise is the best turquoise.
I thought going to a Pigeon Forge in a story and buying it from Dolly Parton, Seaver County, I was like, I'll have a turquoise ring. I know that Crystal's going to get my back on turquoise.
I will.
And I was like, amazing. And I started picking them out online. No time. We have no time for that. I got to be in bed by 7:30, Daddy.
Wow.
We had to we put her in the bottom bunk of a bunk bed and then put sheets around it to make it dark because the champ wanted to sleep.
You probably could have traded that trophy for like a turquoise pinky ring, easy.
We almost threw it in the creek. Just as it'd be a funny video.
Have you told her about hyperbaric chambers? She can sleep in one and then get her white blood.
I'm gonna start calling her Little Rogan.
A red blood cell count up to the 20,000 feet.
Let's keep this a hobby.
Who's the youngest person ever to take stem cells? Like, is it possible to take stem cells when you're still making them?
Yeah, you don't need that that much blood to have her blood dope because she doesn't have that much blood.
Yeah. You're right.
A little bit of
Can
blood.
I do anything?
She
with
already
my...
was number one. What more do you want?
Which now she
you gotta
hit.
stay
She's got to
number
stay
one.
number one. Yeah.
To be fair, Crystal, she's nationally number one. There is the international dance competitions as well.
Oh boy.
Is there any sort of cash prize?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She got $250, I think.
Oh, wow.
That seems like a drop in the ocean compared to what y'all have spent. I don't know what you've spent.
I'll tell you.
I would have complained about that, by the way.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I will add that $250 to the $20,000 I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least 2,500.
What are you guys? My wife talking about me playing poker or what?
It is really. I mean, and I don't think they even get the big jumbo check or anything. And they do the runner up. They do the runner up so dirty. Like they have them on the stage. Like side by side.
Did they do that thing?
They do, and
they do that thing where there's two of them, and they're like, one of them is the winner, and then one of them didn't even make third place.
Yeah, that's the worst.
They have them side by side, and they're going to announce it, and they're like, "And our winner of our national title," and they're like, "Maisie Dennis," and then they come out and they take the girl, and she had big, bless her heart, she had she had her costume on and like big heart glasses and was like all done out, and then they just take her and they're like, "You leave."
Yeah, because she's about to start crying.
Yeah, well, they push her right off the stage. They're like, "No, it's not about you now."
Yeah.
Oh, and I told Andrew, I go, "That was a little aggressive, right? They did second place, dirty as hell."
Well, I guess maybe that motivates her to try harder next year.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And they do have to get her out to the
That is
parking
right.
lot for her coach to break her trophy in front of her.
Like Cobra Kai style. Yeah.
But also, we're talking about like the highest echelon of competitors here.
Again,
that,
nationally, so international would be above that.
yeah. Well,
You know, Shredbear brings up an interesting point. He's like, "Are those dance comps a scheme?" I think in some way they could be looked at as that, because I'm sure
everybody's paying money into it.
It is a business. Don't get it twisted.
Little League is a scam too.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
kids soccer is a scam.
Exactly.
It's all stuff
Youth
for kids to
leagues.
develop skills.
Yeah.
But also, she's worked her way up to almost a level where you're peeking out of the scam, if that makes sense. It's I can see where you could be taken advantage of on a lower tier where maybe they're bilking you and there's nothing going on there, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But I don't think that's happening here.
And by the way, everything's a scam. Tell me something that's not a scam. It was everything. It's all money. It's like
There has to be a business aspect. I mean,
And there probably is like a dance studio out there where they're not teaching like much of anything. They're having like the kids run laps and maybe watch like iPad for a little bit, and it's like glorified babysitting. But this obviously is not a scam because the girl just won a national championship from their coaching, right?
Right. Yeah. She did well. Yeah, she did, and it was competing against a bunch of other people.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't. Yeah, I just
you did okay,
I keep
Maisie.
it chill, because I just want her to be happy.
When you go into like all these youth leagues in Europe, that try to coach people up and kids up to get into the highest level of soccer or whatever.
Right.
It costs money for unless you are like really insanely good, then they're like, hey, this kid's got a chance. Everybody else, all the other kids their families are paying money for those kids to get in there. And guess what? 98% of them don't make it professionally. And so is that a scam, or are the parents just giving them a chance?
Right, we're talking about the champ here. Maisie was
Yeah.
the champion, but there's a lot of girls who just went out there and did it for fun and
Correct.
spent the same amount of money.
I would say the majority of them did. Yeah, you're right.
So I think the people who are on the lower end, I just mean like the ones who didn't win anything.
Yeah.
Probably are feeling a little more scammed than you.
Okay,
are.
you're bringing
'Cause
up
you got a lot out of it.
You're bringing up the next thing I wrote down, which is it's a little more rewarding to go on these trips when she's succeeding. You know what I mean?
course,
It
yeah.
would be a hell of a lot harder to go on this.
You're like, oh my God, she's not even going to do it.
But luckily,
Right.
the number one thing I have is that she loves it. And man, because I can see you having a child who might even be good at it, but doesn't love it. See what I'm saying? Like, the difference for me is that she just loves it. So we'd probably be there anyway.
Yeah.
Like whether she's placing or not placing, it's just like her favorite thing to do, like all the time.
Yeah, it's rough when you spend $13,000 and your kid every morning is like, "Oh God, do I have to go?"
Yeah,
That's too early.
And there are those people that hate that. Yeah, that's a real thing. And then the
Yeah.
parent keeps still like. That's why I would I may not do that. I may just. Why would you do that? That's not helping you or the kid.
I feel like that's
don't know.
probably the majority of the kid. Where it's just because you were telling me about the schedule, like you're getting up at 5:30 in the morning, that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, so I'll give you the schedule. Yeah, so we got there, and then the first day we got to play in the creek. Andrea gave us like a day early to get there. We played in the creek. We're catching crawfish. Dansby was loving it. He loves water. He's navigating the creek. By the way, if you do that with your dog, hopefully you have a bright white dog, because he was Mr. Ticks. Oh,
really?
My God. Oh, I picked so many ticks off that dog. Ugh. But I just kind of rolled with it because he was doing dog stuff.
Yeah.
And watching a dog do... If you haven't watched your dog do... Gina and John do this all the time with their dogs. And I know it's a pain in the ass and it's weird. But if you can let your dog be a dog and do dog stuff, like running around and like swimming and nosing leaves. I don't know.
A little hole.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And it will actually make your dog very happy. Like, he was the happiest dog. So I just, like, let him do it. And at the end of the day, I take him upstairs, put him in the tub, and you just rinse him. And they don't like the water, and you just pick them off and kill them. And
I like it when greyhounds are in Manhattan apartments. That's my favorite.
St. Bernard, and he's on the 40th floor.
I like it when you get a wolf and you put it outside in Florida. And
my
look
God.
how hot he is.
So many people have those wolves out here.
Yeah, too many wolves. We gotta stop
hot.
that. We gotta stop that. But yeah, he loved
Husky
it.
in Florida.
So we got to do that. But then that was our play day. Okay, I kid you not. That was the day, and I'm drinking beers, and man, beers go down. You can drink 48 beers in one day in Tennessee. It's just so fun. And then every other day was the girls are up at 5:15, and I'm not going to just lay in bed, so I get up at 5:15. I'm just going to sit there like, ugh, like
Make
angry.
breakfast?
No, I just sit there. I'm too early for breakfast. I'm just kind of sitting there, ugh. And they're like, okay, what are you going to do today? I'm like, oh, But you can't go back to bed. I mean, once you're up, you're up.
How many people are out there? Like
thousands of people at the competition.
So it's thousands?
And just like hundreds of dance troops, thousands of people, because there are 140 in her division, and then from all over different places in America. Like some people drove from I think we saw one group from, I think the most we saw was like maybe Maine or something. It was far, it was pretty far. And but yeah, it was cool. All in all, I would say it was a really great experience. The cabin was fun.
How many days is the dance competition itself?
It is 5 days, 4 days.
Wow. Okay,
5 days. Yeah,
and they dance every day.
Every day.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
5 days
with May. She had placed so high in an earlier preliminary dance competition that they invited her to the opening number, which meant they had to be up even earlier. Like, had she not been invited to the dance number, the opening number, she would have probably been going in around 8. But instead, they're like, we need you here at 7. So they had to be up at 5.
The amount, because obviously Maisie loves it, and this she's driven to do well, she's won the whole thing. But imagine a lot of other parents that, like you said, the kid is they're kind of into it, they take it or leave it. But the amount of work the parents have to do, 5 days, you travel to Pigeon Forge. That's where I was at.
Pigeon Forge. Yeah.
And I knew that. I thought maybe it was close, and then you went to Pigeon Forge.
You thought maybe Pigeon Forge would come to you.
No, if you wait long enough, they say it will.
So he is actually in Pigeon Forge, and then 5 days of competition, and then you travel 5 days of hotel. Just the amount of work the parents have to put in for this is crazy.
The dance bag, and Andrea and I argued about this. The dance bag that goes to dance is over 100 pounds.
That's crazy. Is that your Hulkin?
No, this is a giant specific for dance. It's got a rod that carries costumes on the top of it.
That's with the kid in the bag, though, right?
Yeah, but you have to take our arms off. But it's you have to carry those in a separate bag. But no, it'll fold out. It's got a vanity, and then it's got a place for clothing, and then a chair, and then an area for them to go and do makeup and hair and. Because you got a costume change. So for some of these, for her solo, which was insane, and I'm not allowed back there because of course I'm a man.
Right.
That's just not. Sorry, doesn't work like that anymore. Andrea,
are there any girls without moms that have to? What do they do?
You probably get your instructor or another mom, or They had some rentable moms there that you could purchase at. No, they don't have that, but that's not a bad idea. Actually, you should think about that. People that know how to do hair and makeup that are just wandering there, they're rentable, like a taxi. In case your mom has to poop or something, you could just get that. Never mind, bad idea. So Andrea put her on stage. Then had to get her other costume ready to go. She gets off stage. there are 3 stages going at the same time in this convention center. So then they had to take the outfit, get her hair and makeup done, and then sprint across the convention center from blue stage to pink stage because her next solo is on pink stage. And then they got to get her there, and like sometimes they'd have to hold the dance because they can't make it there fast enough because one stage might be running faster than the other stage. It's wild, man. It's wild.
So there's like dozens of judges scoring different stages.
I think there's 3 or 4 judges per stage. And they're there the whole day. They just sit.
And then they aggregate all of those judges' scores, and that's how you get the overall winner.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's how they do it.
They should give a mini trophy to Andrea.
Oh, I know. Oh, I told her that.
To the mom.
Yeah. To the mom. Yeah. She's the greatest.
There's a percentage that the mom did to make this happen.
What if the daughter won, but like a different mom won best mom? That would be.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. That's good for the branding because they make villains too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually way better than my rentable mom idea. That's a damn good idea. Yeah, Andrea deserves it because I think Andrea could do as much as 40% of the work. Because I take away Maisie's work only because she loves it so much, and it's not work for her at all. She just likes getting out there and moving her body, man. And she loves it.
I'm sure Andrea loves doing it for her daughter.
She does. She does.
Maisie loves it, but then she also made a decision. I want to succeed at this at the highest level, and then she took the steps to achieve that goal. You know, like she took it to the next level, literally.
And you could only love it so much.
That's what I say.
There, you're like, oh my god!
Hey, trust me, I wish you'd love it a little less.
5:30 in the morning.
I mean,
5 days in a row. I paid an insane amount of money.
Well, we got to Thursday, and they're getting up at 5, and I'm looking at Andrea, and I'm like, I really would like to spend some time with you guys and do something here fun as a family. That would be fun.
But she also loves winning, too, because, if you just love dancing, you'd be like, I don't care where I come in. I just want to go. I want to dance. I want to dance for 5 days, do all the dances and everything.
Yeah,
and she made up her mind, I want to win this thing, and did it.
And she did it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I said, what's your goal for next year? And she's like, well, I guess at this point, she said, and
she wants to win Best Dancer and Best Mom in the same year. Never been done before. She's going to mom herself.
Player coach, Trey Rollins.
Yeah.
No, she said that she wants to maintain but add more dances. And I'm like, God damn.
Oof.
All right. Well, we'll try it.
Hard worker.
We'll try it. You might have to get a second mom on board. My God, I don't know what to do here. What am I going to do? And I can only drink so much beer. You know what I mean? You're killing me. I drink in 2 days. I was 58 beers down, man. I was like, I can't. Andrea's like, how you doing? I was like, it's rough drinking all these beers by the creek. I was like, this is tough stuff.
You might need another dog to pick ticks off of.
I know. I need 2 Westies.
Yeah.
Something to slow me down.
I
think that's everything about the competition. I'm trying to think if there's anything else weird. No, Andrea always sets it up. She sets herself up for success. She planned this it's a year in the making. She finds the right place right next to the venue, and she spends a ton of time on it. And I love her so much for doing it. It's wild that she's just good at it, and she organized a wonderful, easy trip for her daughter.
How was Yakov Smirnoff as host?
Oh, he was fantastic. Still got it.
I saw on your social you saw a big ass bear.
Oh, yeah, I did see a bear.
What?
I didn't think I was going to see any bears because in Florida, I've lived here for 49 years and I've never seen a bear. And I figured Tennessee's got to be similar. Tennessee, Georgia, the Carolinas, Florida. I kind of lump that all together, right?
Yeah.
Mountains up there.
They do have mountains up there. Never seen a bear. And then the first day, the girls are at the competition, and they're on their way home. They just text me. They're like, hey, we're leaving. We're on our way back. So that's my cue to go turn the oven on, pound the chicken breast, whatever. And I'm getting up to do that, and Dansby starts losing his mind, and it smells like a giant pile of S.
Really?
And I'm like, I think this dog's crapped, and he's barking at his own, or he's sick or something. And I stand up, and when I stand up, I look, and he is Dansby's sticking his nose through the cabin grate, and he's nose to nose with a ginormous Tennessee bear.
Whoa.
And Dansby starts barking at the bear, and the bear lets out another audible weird like of that. It is so scared of Dansby, it just starts taking off. So Ted Nugent...
Wait, what smelled like...
The bear!
Really?
And also,
Oh, that's right.
recorded.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
You're good. That just means you were captivated by my story.
I thought you said it. It smelled like a big.
I may have. I thought I said a big.
He didn't. He said it.
I'm sorry.
For radio.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Crystal
They're not used to
Don't
people.
worry about it.
don't know
We're
what
still on
Crystal
vacation,
Van.
but stop. You're
You know
fine.
what? These guys are gonna let us slide. I'm gonna shame you. Crystal Van.
It made a snort noise, and the chat room's like, "Yeah, they snort. Yeah, it made a snort noise. It's like a big dog that smells like crap."
I can't get off of this. If I come to the Bart Merrick team to sell a house, are you going to curse at me, Crystal? Oh my goodness!
No,
This
I don't.
is not
but
what I
when
expect
I come
from
in
a-
here, I feel like I got to naughty it up a little bit.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. But it was terrified of my dog. Like it had nothing. It did not want to be near me. It was checking the trash can. We had bear trash cans. It had checked the bear trash can for Hamburger Helper or something, and it was getting the hell out of there because the little white tick monster was barking at it. It did not. It was terrified. You could tell.
Yeah,
I could have thrown could have thrown a can of soup at it or something.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome seeing a bear. Yeah, big
was-
ass
It
was a
black
big
bear.
one.
You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
you could feel its presence. It was so big. Like it
Yeah.
was big enough for you to be like, oh, there's a. I can
Something. I
there's-
feel your energy.
Yeah, and then when it walks through the water, it doesn't like you can see how big. Like when it's stepping, you're like, oh, you're big.
Yeah.
And you stink really bad.
Didn't you see another one?
I think it was the same one, just
Oh.
as big. But you know what it did? It did what the Charmin bears do. It came down the mountain. I'm not kidding, Ross. It came down the mountain and it got in the creek and it was coming by and I kept Dansby in and I have a video of this. And it goes and it puts its ass in the water and it does like a couple pumps, like it's dipping its beehole. And then it got out with just its bottom half was wet, and then it just made its way like it had an
So
itch.
He must have heard you saying how bad
Oh,
he stunk.
yeah.
Yeah. Our buddy, it dipped its butt in the creek and washed its butt ass, and then went along its way. It's pretty wild. But yeah, they're really neat to see, and a little scarier than I thought.
That's
like
cool.
when you see it, you're like, oh, that's big. That's a big bear.
How was Dollywood?
Dollywood is the if you like roller coasters, I will say Dollywood is the place you got to go. We do not have roller coasters that can even sniff Dollywood.
Really?
Not even close. Hulk coaster, any of the new ones. I'm sorry, they might be great, but they will not be scarier than any other. Like,
Is it because they're old and rickety,
No.
or is it because
there's one that I couldn't even. I rode the first one I rode was called Thunderhead, which has like
I love roller coasters.
It's a wooden roller coaster,
Yeah.
and it had 150. It's going 65 miles an hour, and it's a big drop, a 150 drop.
Yeah.
It makes white lightning, which I love. I love white lightning. Great roller coaster over at Fun Spot. This thing is so scary. We got off of that. Maisie's like, oh, I don't know. That one rattled my brain.
Wooden coasters are fun.
I love a wooden roller coaster.
They're so loud. And then the second one we went on was called the Dragon Flyer, and this is a one of a kind. This is, I believe, it's a Swedish coaster, and that she purchased for she loves roller coasters and has tons of them, like 11 of them or something on property.
I would pay money to watch Dolly Parton ride a roller coaster.
Me too. And then so this one on the second drop, you go through like a tunnel and then into an inversion, and it got me. After that one, I looked at the girls and I'm like, oh, that cinnamon bread's about to come up, man. I'm like, that got me. So they rode almost every other roller coaster there, and I was very proud of Moo. She's got the bug now. She rode this one. It's the most patriotic roller coaster I've ever seen. It's called Big Eagle. And it is a giant American eagle, and you sit on his outstretched wings.
Really?
Like you're hanging under his wings.
Wow.
I need to look this up.
Yeah, look up Big Eagle. I think that's what it's called.
That sounds so awesome.
It's badass, dude. It's so cool. And Maisie said the drop, it's a 220-foot drop. I think you're going 75 miles an hour. It won all kinds of crazy awards. It is, like Maisie said, that's the scariest thing I've ever been on. I looked at Andrea, and Andrea confirmed. She's like, that was intense.
Is there a lot of Dolly Parton everywhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's, that's her city.
It looks fun.
Okay, so this themed Dolly Parton.
Dollywood's more
Americana.
More Americana,
Okay.
yeah. I'd say the theme park is more kind of like just standard Americana with like good shows and good rides and good food. The theme park food was really good. Like it was like unlike, and the crowds weren't bad. Like it is. She's done a really nice job with it. Like everything, we just threw money at it and bought the quick pass. We didn't know how long we were going to have, and so we got all the lightning lane that you get from Dolly Parton or the quick pass. It really works. You go in the exit and they put you right on. Like they're like, here, come right on. You spend an extra $30. Here you go.
Probably less busy in the summer because you said it was hot as hell.
Oh my God, they're having a heat wave. And
I heard about this heat wave.
It got me. It was Florida hot, and I wore a stupid black hat, and I was dying. It was so hot out there. And but Dollywood, unlike another theme park, they're giving out free water the whole day. They're like, come and get water and ice, water and ice, water and ice.
living in
Free
Orlando.
water.
I know.
Not my Dollywood. Charge for that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been given anything free at any of our theme parks here in town.
No, they're like, it's hot? Good. Here's a $7 bottle of water.
I would say if you don't like theme parks, that one's worth a shot because you might like it because it is different. They have a lot of shade. They have some areas you can go to that are just covered in trees. And if you just want to park your ass there and send mom and dad out to other places, you can do that. Yeah, I was very impressed with Dollywood.
Here in Florida, the parks focus on like quote unquote rides. So it might be a roller coaster, it might be like a half and half like the Mummy, or it could just be like a full on Simpsons like thing. I forgot about like up north you get coaster parks. Like, I grew up in Pennsylvania, and we had this park called Kennywood.
Yes, dude, Kennywood's great.
It's like the #1 coaster park in the world, like, when I was growing up. And, like, my two favorites were, it was an old wooden coaster called the Jackrabbit that, like, it had big, scary drops. And, like, you literally would be standing in line, and bolts would just be falling off of it. And you'd be like, how many until it just falls apart? I don't know. I'll probably get off the ride. And then we had this thing called the laser loop, where, like, you start in a station in the middle, and you, at the speed of light, you go forward through a loop and then up to like a top spire thing. And then you cap out and then you drop backwards through that same loop, go backwards through the station at 1,000,000 miles an hour, backwards through another loop to another spire, and then forwards through that loop again back to the station. It was so cool.
Oh, let me find you your new favorite roller coaster then. Allow me to paint the...
Because the laser loop was dismantled in like 94. I can never ride it again.
I think it's called the Fire Starter or something. It's fire-themed.
Yeah.
You are a fire truck. And you start up, you ting, 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 you're starting off, and then you go up and you go down your first big drop, and you're like, this is awesome, and you do some inversions, you might do a loop-de-loop, and then, what do you go into? You go into an old fireworks factory, and what happens? The hillbilly's in there, and he just started a fire. You got to put out the fire. But this roller coaster, you go into the fireworks factory, there's a big 3-alarm blaze, you put out the fire, and then the roller coaster shoots you out backwards. It explodes and shoots you out of the fireworks factory backwards.
As the thing is exploding, you get shot out.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Like
Pretty good.
How hot was it when you were there?
Florida hot, like pass out hot, like 100, feels like 105. But they have more misting fans than I've seen at any other park. Now, I don't know, I haven't been to the theme parks in a minute, but I don't know if we've added a bunch of those here now because it's a lot hotter. But Dollywood, and Will from Will's Pub even commented, he's like, they do it right, they've got shade. He commented on my Instagram. He's right. They had lots of shade, lots of umbrellas, lots of misting things, lots of those things that... pool canopies, like stretched out.
Yeah.
I don't understand why every new place we build here in Florida, we don't put shade.
Yeah.
We cut down all the trees, and then we build something on concrete, and then just let
She did another clever
They want
thing.
you inside spending money. You understand?
No.
That's just like,
you got to walk from place to place. Most of the park is outside.
don't put windows in a casino. You don't want anybody to know
I mean, he's not
what
wrong.
day
that
it is or what time it is.
That is why they do it.
I would stay longer at a park and spend more money if there was shade and if there was a comfortable place for me to sit and enjoy my popcorn or my beer.
I think that's what she's trying to do. No beer in the park. It is an alcohol-free park, so sorry. You're going to have to find soda.
I don't want you spending all day. I want you in and out to make room for more people spending more money.
I like your greed. Another thing she would do that I thought was pretty clever is like she was doing this like festival of roadside attractions or festival of summer, is that she would do a lot of installations in the trees that would be big and flowy that, like, let's say, for instance, near the trees, she would put like, let's say 50 gigantic Dolly Parton butterflies. More sunshade. Like... They were really clever in the way that they would hide things in the trees to give you more natural shade. I don't know why we don't do. I mean, it kind of makes Imagineers look lame if they can't even figure out shade. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to, unless it's more. I bet you Tom's right on this one. They don't want you. They want you in and out, spend the maximum amount of money, go back to your hotel.
Yeah. I want you to spend $500 to get in and leave at noon because it's too hot and there's no shade anywhere.
And then go buy beers at the hotel bar.
So I could herd the rest of the cattle in there so they can leave too and
You're
just give me money.
Right. That's terrible.
Yeah, it is pretty terrible.
Take out all this shade. I want them sweating.
They have this.
That's where the money is.
They have a grist mill where they make this world famous cinnamon bread. And
what are we doing? Why don't we live in Pigeon Forge?
It's awesome.
This sounds like heaven on
The
earth.
cinnamon bread is really good. We got a loaf of cinnamon bread.
It can't be that good,
Yeah.
Ross.
You eat the whole bread. Yeah, it's so good. Oh, it's delicious.
Yakov Smirnoff personally moved there. It's the best, right? Because he famously came from Russia to America where things are better, or at least different than Russia, and he points that out. And then he picks Pigeon Forge. It's the best place in America.
Well, he's comparing it to Russia. I'm pretty sure really any place is better.
It's Wild Eagle. Sorry, Wild Eagle, not Big Eagle. Although I think Big Eagle would be a cool name for it, but Wild Eagle.
I found it when I looked it up.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Go look up Wild Eagle. But yeah, Maisie and Andrea, they rode all the coasters. I only did like 2 or 3, and then little baby got sick. So I was like, well, I'll just wait for you guys to get done.
It didn't bother you because Max likes it, like roller coasters, anything, like even that giant swing we did, and I told Max, like, I'll go on anything anytime with you forever, no matter how dangerous it is. I'll never not go,
Yeah,
because I can't ever have him like, hey, I want to go on this thing, and me like, I don't know.
Oh, if Andrea didn't want to go, yeah, I would have gone. I'll power through it, but no, Andrea's like, I'll go. I'll do it because Andrea likes those rides too. All 3 of us are going to ride anyway, so I mean, it was going to be all 3 of us. But they did get on multiple rides, and these coasters are really fast, and a couple of them that they were in line, and I'm proud of her for this. They would break down. And then they'd have to do the thing where, and I figured it out while watching the coaster, is that when it breaks down or throws a code, they have to send out the train one time without anybody, one time with a person in the front, and one time with a person in the employee, and one time with an employee in the back.
Yeah,
they do it 3 times. At least at Dollywood they do.
Yeah.
So I started seeing this, and Maisie's in line, and they text me. They're like, "Oh, we're almost to the front," and they see the coaster go down, and then they run it without somebody, an employee in the front, and then they run it with an employee in the back. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there like kind of just doing the math in my brain, and I'm like, if this had been little Dan Lee up there, and I had found out that it broke down, and then now they're going to test it to make sure I'm going to be safe, I don't think I would have gotten on. I'm just doing the math for me, like little me, but I'm proud of her for like, they're testing it. It's fine. I'm going to ride it. I'm glad that maybe I watered down my anxiety just a little bit.
I wonder what the person in the front and the person in the back does.
Well, when I used to work
if they died, you'd know not to run it again.
Well, yeah.
When I used to work at Jurassic Park, I would train people on our rides sometimes, and that's like a lot of walking around, and you're kind of free floating for a lot of it. You don't have a specific assigned duty. You're just like showing them the whole park and giving them a feel for it, and then showing them their duties and stuff, so you can kind of walk around. And then on the radio every once in a while, especially for Hulk would break down a lot, and then the call would come over the radio.
Too many parts. They took out the propulsion system at Dollywood because it broke down too much.
So call would come over the radio like, hey, Hulk broke down. If anybody's available, we need an employee to come test ride it before we can put people back in. And if I was training, I'd be like, hey, come on. And we'd run to the Hulk, and because you could just I'd walk right up to the platform. I'd be like, we're here, and they'd put you right in the front of the Hulk coaster and run you around privately on it, and then they'd be like, all right, safe for real people, and then they'd start loading it back up again. So it was always my favorite call.
Risk the employees?
Yeah. Well, you're also getting paid for it.
I think it's just a case of they know it's going to be fine. Yeah. They wouldn't put anybody on it if they didn't have absolute confidence in it was going to work, but they just wanted somebody that they pay to go through so they can say we made sure it was safe for real people.
Yeah, I think it's a formality. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
But God, it was always a great call. I'd be like, come on, we're going to ride the whole coaster.
Get paid for it. If you like roller coasters, go. If you do not like roller coasters, there's plenty of other stuff to do, but there are some coasters there that will literally scare you. It will make you. There were so many crying children off of those coasters.
Yeah.
Because dads will do this move where they're because they have some ones that are fitted for the little guys that are adventurous, because we have that. But so many dads forcing these kids on the and screaming, crying, just crazy crying.
There was one at Kennywood called the Thunderbolt, and it had a famous stretch that always smelled like vomit because somebody would always puke there on that one particular stretch of it.
I saw a blogger. I saw a famous roller coaster blogger that I've seen on YouTube walking around there doing selfie. He's like, hey, I'm here at Dollywood getting ready to go up there on the Thunderhead. I'm like, oh, I know you from YouTube. I was like, I've never seen that before.
I wonder what
cool.
the stats are on forcing forcing your kid to ride a roller coaster, even though they don't want to go, if that actually does work and make them like roller coasters, because I feel
think it makes
like
them hate you.
I feel like it doesn't.
Makes you hate your dad. What are the stats on that? Roll the numbers on I hate my dad.
Because I feel like that's an urban legend, like throwing your kid in
into
the
a
pool to
pool.
teach him how to swim. Like forcing your kid to go on roller coasters. It doesn't seem. I don't know though, but it doesn't seem like it'll work. As much as people do it.
In this day and age, how could you even do it? Like,
Go
the
to
kid starts
Dollywood.
crying.
It doesn't work.
Nobody's going to buckle a crying kid into a roller coaster in 2025.
No, they were all so upset because one of them was on the one that did me in, right? The one where it does the super loop into the inversion and it kicks you to the side real fast. And I could feel my brain like, and then we got out of that and I was like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. That was the one that was approved for little bodies. So it doesn't mean that it's not intense. It just means that we can put a smaller human on here and they're not going to fly out. And there were so many little kids on that because it is built. I think it was engineered in Europe, in like Sweden or one of those countries that are known for shipbuilding because they build a lot of coasters. And it was made to be intense for smaller kids. And it was too intense for these kids. It was blowing their minds and they were all crying. All of them were crying.
Universal used to have two. The one in the cartoon land. I forget what it was, like some cartoon theme, Fievel Moskowitz or something. That was their kids. And then they had one called The Last Unicorn that I think Harry Potter Land has taken over now. And it was for kids, but it was a great little ride. It was a nice little coaster.
Did you drive there straight to Tennessee?
We did, yeah. We drove there. Yeah, we drove
What is
straight. It's like 9 to 10 hours.
Okay.
And I'm taking a lot of heat for this on the VDM page, but me and Maisie have utilized urinal bags. Andrea refuses to be in our club, but Maisie and I will use urinal bags so we only have to stop for gas, so we can just burn on down the highway.
So therefore,
well, you can go to the bathroom while you stop at the gas station.
You can't, because we don't want to do any extra stops. So if somebody, after we got gas, notoriously, you get gas, I got poop now. Like, well, you just peed. Sorry, we have a one stop. We're getting gas. You can pee then. If not, you're getting a urinal bag. So me and Maisie had to pee, and we're going down the road. I'm like, how much gas we got? It was Andrea's turn to drive. We got 280 miles. I was like, we got to pee in bags. We can't be stopped. We got 280 miles. I'm not stopping and topping off the time. I'm not losing 20 minutes for a pee.
You were out of Gatorade bottles?
You know what? These urinal bags have the gels in the bottom and they absorb so you don't get any mess. And it has a Ziploc on the top. And it has a funnel for boys. And if you flip it around, it has a cup for girls.
Whoa.
Amazing. They're called Ooh Wee.
Really,
if you're looking for them on Amazon, it's Ooh Wee with a U.
I'm looking for them in this room. I got to go.
Yeah, you want one? Oh, I forgot to bring them. We're going to pee on the show today.
Yeah.
They make a She-Wee.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
You
can put it in your jeans.
If you don't stop cursing on this show, I'm...
But
you can pull the front out of your jeans.
Yeah, and
zipper.
Maisie, and I know before I take the heat, everybody's like, you're a disgusting animal. Hey, me and Maisie love it. We laugh and we laugh. We turn the country music up and we pee on down the highway. Let's get this 18-wheeler move. We're caught in a crosswind. Woo! Let's go. Put the hammer down.
Are you sitting shotgun and Maisie's in the back, right?
Yeah, normally with the dog, because Dansby's with us. Normally I drive, though. I like driving. So, and I like driving Andrea's car. It's big. I'll just sit there and drive, pretend I'm a trucker, and be like, hand me a pee bag, baby. Let's go. I love it. It's so fun.
And then you just put the bag in because it turns to like the magician gel.
It's
right?
magician gel, yeah. So you just put it in. You know that useless side cup holder that nobody uses?
Yeah.
That's near your speaker? That, a lot of people don't know this, but that was made for pee bags. That's what that's for. The reason
and McDonald's receipts.
Yeah, and McDonald's. And the reason it doesn't work for like a soda or anything is because it was made for an ooh-wee pee bag. So
you want to hear a trucker story?
Please.
I delivered some fireworks out to Eustis, and I'm driving the truck back to Longwood warehouse to load up, and the Longwood I-4 exit, I get off, and there's a guy begging there, like got a little sign out and whatever, and he gives me the old trucker horn honk thing, right? Because I'm driving a big panel truck. But it doesn't have that.
It's a little off-brand, but okay.
It doesn't have that. Yeah, well, you got to pass the time somehow, I guess. And so when trucks come by, he asks them to honk. So he gave me like the, pull down a overhead horn handle symbol that you do to a trucker to get them to honk their horn. And I don't have one of those. So I gave my little actual horn a honk, honk. And he went Patooey. He like gave me the
he gave you the fooey?
He gave me the 2-hand buzz off. You know, like yeah. I disappointed an old beggar with my horn.
That's fantastic. Here's a question I have for road trippers: why is every big 18-wheeler, cargo carrier, the license plate on the back of it, all of them, and if they're FedEx, if they're you name them, they're all from Indiana, every single one? Why?
Center of the country?
Is the biggest hub there, or all?
Well, remember, Gary, Indiana was the huge truck hub center of the trucking industry, supposedly.
We
remember
didn't see. Maisie and I tried because you got to have something to do while you're peeing in bags, and we going and coming. We did not see one 18-wheeler that was not licensed out of Indiana. Huh. Not even one. We kept. It was like the game. We're like, first one to find it wins $10.
It may be a hub like Atlanta Airport is for truckers, something like that.
The trailers are registered different than the tractors, though.
Yeah.
Right.
The trailers are probably. I don't know if they're all from one place.
I just find it odd that they're all out of one spot.
Yeah.
Like, that is so weird to me.
I think maybe that's where you're picking up where the hub is, where they ship it. I don't know, something like this. It's got to be like because remember, Gary, Indiana was a huge trucking
you're right.
Stop. That's where when
our buddy Justin.
Is there a train station there? Like, was there cargo coming in at
there
the
might
train
be a
or
giant
a port
hub?
of
Yeah,
some
port.
kind?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we still haven't gotten an answer about those little things they started putting underneath every truck. The little
the ventilation things or
whatever they are. They started appearing about like 10 years ago, and they're on.
It's for air.
I know you think it's for that, but like you can't get an answer anywhere about what they're really for. Is it for aerodynamics? Is it to protect equipment? They're on every truck, but nobody has an answer for what they are.
Interesting. I always assumed it was to keep road debris out of the axle.
And then half people say that, half people say aerodynamics, but there's no official answer. I don't know.
You know what I want the answer to be?
You looked it up on the internet?
You know what?
Even if you Google it, there's no real answer to it.
You know what I want the answer to be? Fashion. That's what I want. If they say, if it just says one word, fashion, I'll be like, all right.
It's like the modern version of mud flaps with like a naked lady silhouette on it.
Yeah. Moon eyes, hubcaps.
It's got to be fuel efficiency of some sort. Because
now you've done it. He's going to be talking about this all day, Ross.
Okay, great.
I'm betting fuel efficiency.
Well, you say that, and then she says for road debris, and then nobody has a real answer.
I'm on for fashion. Put me down for fashion.
I love Paris truck fashion.
Maybe it is a mud flap type to keep the mud off the axle parts. I don't know what it's called.
Hey, don't get no mud on your axle parts. You know what I'm saying?
It's probably harder to clean all those pipes and doodads under there.
You got mud on your axle there, boy.
All right, well, let's take a break. When we come back, I'll tell you guys about the Swedish trip.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure it's just like Pigeon Forge.
I want fireworks.com.
Yeah, there you go. I want fireworks.com.
Yeah. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So we'll start off with the flight out to Sweden. So
if you don't mind, let's just remember to refresh Crystal's mind. You can't curse on this show, Crystal. You gotta watch your mouth.
Yeah. She's in vacation
in
mode,
this part of the story, I would definitely be cursing. So I need a reminder.
She's still got one foot in the fjord. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So
and Swedish radio, you can say whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
I don't know if you can. I would imagine that their regulatory is more than ours. Most European countries are.
So I'm trying to
don't they have, like nude weather.
Listening to Daniel's trip, it got me to think. Why do these things happen to the vans? Why does chaos? We talk about the orb of chaos, and obviously,
you guys are more open to it naturally, right? It's like people that are more open to believing in God will see more things that they think are God. You guys are more open to adventure, so I think that the adventure finds you more easily because you're more open to it, right? You're more open to the go with the flow kind of adventure style.
Yeah, but driving nonstop to Tennessee, urinating in bags.
That's easy. It's very trashy hillbilly. It's a hillbilly. It's not Sweden.
But something bad may happen, and you know what I'm saying? Some sort of chaos.
Like the pee bag didn't break open at the bottom. You're telling me that it worked fine.
It worked fine.
That's shocking.
Yeah, very little traffic. Drove right in. It was great. It was great.
How
I would bet, though, that your wife has everything so meticulously planned out that even if a pee bag exploded in the car,
found the pee bag?
She would be
Maisie didn't find the pee bag.
She would be like, "Here's my exploding pee bag kit. Let's clean it up."
You're exactly right.
Time for that.
You're exactly
Prepare
right.
for everything.
By the way, I've been villainized on the BDM Facebook page for these pee bags, and I just let the record reflect that I have never purchased a pee bag in my life, nor have I ever Googled anything about pee bags. The pee bags were gifted to me by my loving wife. I would be an a-hole husband to not pee in the bag she purchased for me.
But if she gave you a gun and you killed a guy, it's not her fault. You're peeing in the bag.
I am peeing in the bag. I am.
So anyway, Crystal plans out all these trips. So kudos to my wife, because without Crystal,
what does kudos mean?
This trip that you're about to describe going horribly wrong?
Not everything.
What are we doing here? Nobody says kudos, by the way.
You gotta try stuff.
Hold on. Kudos is BS. Nobody, especially this guy, nobody says, hey.
I do deserve more than a kudos.
Yeah, that's right under for she's a jolly good fellow.
Do you remember kudos bars? Granola dipped in chocolate?
Delicious.
That's a great snack.
Delicious.
I would take a kudos
not at all healthy.
right now.
Not at all healthy.
No, that's how they pitched it.
So, in the way we had planned this out, we're flying JetBlue.
Now we planned it?
Do you want to?
That's how he does it.
That's
how he does it.
I did tell him about this, and I only did it this way because the flight from Orlando to Stockholm was like $1,800 a person. But if I used mileage to get us from here to New York for free, then it was like half the price.
Okay.
So you saved
it
like
was a lot.
$2,500.
It wasn't a little bit of savings. It was a lot of savings.
Yeah, half of $5,000.
It was like $3,200 or something
that's
like
a lot.
that.
That's a lot of
it
money.
was a lot.
What's it going to cost us in time, though? How much extra time is this adding?
Not a lot. Okay. Honestly, it's not a lot of extra time. But
6 hours.
No.
Well, 3 hours to New York, 3 hours layover.
What, did you think we were going to get a direct from Orlando to Stockholm? We're still going to New York. We were just going to go on Delta to New York instead of
direct
JetBlue.
to Stockholm been?
There isn't one from here.
So you would have had to go.
You still have to go to New York,
right?
Or Miami. So we either drive 4 hours to Miami or we fly 3 hours to New York.
Okay, so time's a wash. You save the money. Yeah,
you save the money.
I love the saving of money.
The only difference is we flew up on JetBlue and then we're going to Stockholm on Delta.
Okay.
So
I don't see a problem with that.
No.
Well, the only problem,
if you explain this to me, I'm playing the role of your husband, I'm way less rational than this guy. I go crazy.
When you transfer airlines, you also transfer terminals. So when we got to New York on JetBlue, we would have to go get the bag that I checked from JetBlue's carousel, take it back to check-in on Delta on Terminal 4,
go
and then
through security
go
again.
through security again. We would have had to go through security anyway because we're going now international, and you have to go through security again. So that was the same. Anyways, I had a 3.5 hour layover, so that is like more than enough.
Yeah.
I was thinking we were going to go get a Minute Suites and lay down for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But that was not the case.
Yeah, go get some time to chill, you know, like sponge your armpits, splash some water in your face.
I was worried about how long the layover was going to be because I'm like, well, the next flight's 8.5 hours. After a 3 hour flight, I don't want a super long layover, but I wanted to be safe, so I planned it for the 3.5 hour layover.
Love it.
So the checking a bag also added some risk to this. Even though there was such a long layover in New York, we were like, it'll be fine. I mean, we have plenty of time to even get the checked bag.
I mean, 3 hours to get a checked bag is more than enough time.
Yeah, and all this. So
I don't see a problem.
And we have TSA pre-check too, so I wasn't worried about the security.
You got clear still?
No, we have TSA pre-check now.
Which is even better,
It's
right?
the same, I think. I don't know. Really.
So we wake up Thursday, and that was our fly day, and we're not flying out or leaving the house until noon. So it's not waking up like super early like we're used to. And so we wake up, we're chilling, we're like, this is going to be, it's long, it's going to be all day, and we're going to show up there in the morning.
You got to do it.
After traveling all day, so that's rough, but whatever. And so then Crystal gets a message from JetBlue saying our flight is delayed. And so we're like, okay, that's fine. We have 3.5 hours of layover.
We got 3.5 hours. Eat it away,
buffer
JetBlue.
buffer.
Come get us. Is that all you got?
Get some buffer time.
You got an hour delay? Bring it, JetBlue.
When flights are delayed, because we're used to flying, and they get delayed sometimes, but there's also a there's a tell that there's something more than just a small delay, and that's when it keeps getting pushed back.
Yeah.
30 minutes at a time.
30 minutes at a time, and that
They
means
call it a rolling delay.
Yeah. We had a rolling delay in the Dominican Republic that was horrible. It just kept.
Yeah.
It was never ending.
Yeah. So
that just means they know it's going to be 3 hours and they don't want to tell you.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's all.
So when we're at home and I got the second delay alert, I was like, okay, this is going to be bad. Let's change course. Let's get 2 carry-ons and get rid of this big bag and put everything in carry-on so we don't have to worry. Just in case we're crunched on time, we don't have to worry about checking the bag.
You have your gear. Yeah.
TC's like, nah, it's fine. It's going to be fine.
Hold on, do I need the gripes music for you? This is good. Hold on, let me put the camera back on you. Hold on. Put the camera back on you.
I get bit in the ass by it's fine mentality a lot. This is one
why don't you just call it what it is?
nothing.
It's a bad decision. If your wife is doing 2 carry-ons, why ditch it? She's got a great idea.
But if 90% of the time it's fine, I'm still winning. You
You're still boned 10% of the time. Yeah.
But this gives you an out. The beauty in this, the reason I'm so pro what Crystal's choosing, is that if that happens, great, we've prepared. If it doesn't happen, we still have our stuff.
Right.
That's a win-win. There's no way to lose on that side.
And in this
so you
case,
just do that side.
For sure.
See, to me, that's logic.
Yeah.
Is choosing the side that cannot lose.
We decided together, and I'll say that we decided together because we actually did not have 2 extra carry-ons, so I was going to borrow my mom's, and they were covered in cat hair and bird dust.
That's okay.
And so
Bird dust is fine.
I was like, I don't want to be traveling with
You
these
love bird
allergy
dust. You're fine.
things all day. So I'm like, all right, we're going with the big bag. Let's just see what happens. So we
you let him win.
Well, we both. I hate to admit, we both
you're a nice
decided
woman.
to stay with the big bag.
So, but we still have plenty of time when we get to the Orlando airport, and it still looks like it's not delayed that much. But when we get to the airport, then it's the rolling delays.
It keeps
more.
coming.
Oh, no. It keeps coming.
Sitting at the gate, it's coming. It's getting more. Now we're like 4 hours. We're sitting there.
Question: do you guys tell the boys what's happening? Do they
100%.
ask? Okay.
I told them because while we were sitting there, we kind of decided that somebody's not making the New York to Stockholm flight, and it was going to be me. And so I did want to prepare them for that.
But they are pretty chill. Like
Yeah.
they're not. They don't freak out about.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're going to freak out, but I wonder because some parents don't say a word. I think I have to. May's going to ask, so I have to.
Yeah, my kids don't even ask. I just tell them, and then they don't remember. So
Yeah.
it's for me.
I like that.
And then every 10 minutes they're like, "Where?
What are we doing?
They're like, "Where am I?"
Have we been on a plane yet?
And then they ask me, I'm like, "I don't know. Ask the lady. She knows everything."
Maisie says it.
We're just along for the ride.
The day after she won, Maisie turns to me and says, "Is Tennessee a state?" And I look at Crystal, I look at Andrea, and I go, "She's got sports." You know what I mean? Like, thank God she's got sports. Holy smokes, you're dumb.
I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm drunk and high right now. Anyway, so it's getting delayed. Then we get on to the airplane in Orlando, JetBlue, to fly to New York. And on the flight there, me and Crystal are looking at the time, and we're like, this is going to be real tight. Like, to the point where Crystal was asking the flight attendant, like, "Hey, can you let me out of this plane first? Because we have 1 hour, like, give or take, to get out of this plane, go get the check bags, get into security again, back, and and then get
take a train to another terminal.
Yeah, take the
It
air
was basically
train
impossible what we were.
and JFK. Yeah.
I like that.
So we figured that, like, okay.
This reminds me of the show Locked Up Abroad.
So
It was so much anxiety from the minute that we had like the third delay. I'm like, okay, the time now is not working out. You have to have your bag checked 1 hour before departure on an international flight, and we were at like an hour 20 minutes. So I'm like, somehow our bag has to get out of this airplane and over to the carousel, and I have to be there to meet it at the 10-minute mark to run to the other term. It was like not going to happen. But my mom kept saying, and she always has said throughout, because we always flew standby, so she'd always say, just keep moving. So she was like, just keep moving. So I just kept on moving.
Is your mom Dory from Finding Nemo?
No. But she would just say, like, don't give up, because then you're not going to make it. So just
she's
keep
horrible to work for. I've been working for Crystal's mom. She's so mean.
Keep moving.
Ellen, just like Ellen.
Oh my God. So I got off. I was first to deplane. We were in the second to last row, and I darted my ass to the front. Excuse me.
You can say ass. You can say ass.
To the front of the plane, and I got out of the plane first, and I ran through the terminal to the carousel.
I hope you were screaming help.
No, I was screaming, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. You're being polite.
And then when I got there, I waited for 35 minutes for the carousel to start moving.
Yeah.
So I already saw TC and the boys pass me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make it. We already had passed the 1 hour mark to check the bag.
Oh, my God.
So, and for the video of this part, you're going to want that O.J. Simpson running through the airport, but with Crystal's face on it.
Okay, all right.
So I passed Crystal with the boys, and then we get the far as hell, because in JFK, like every terminal, is a big, giant.
It's a monstrosity.
So I get on the air train, travel from Terminal 4 to Terminal 5 or whatever, and then get in Terminal 5, then finally get to Terminal 5's security, long-ass line of security, and then like Crystal's like, the carousel hasn't even started. And so I tell the boys, I'm like, we're going to Sweden without Mom, and she'll just come tomorrow.
And she's not your mom anymore.
And
we're
then
going to start a new life.
And why did she go to the fair to ride the carousel? She doesn't have time for that.
And then, by the way,
she turned her back on us, guys, and we're going to Sweden alone. Your mother's staying here.
Now, she did get to ride the cool tiger, but she should not be riding that carousel right now.
Now,
your mother's drunk at the Outback Express, if you really want to know what's happening.
Dude, they
had
probably
too
got
many bloomin' onions.
They probably got one of those Gordon Ramsay airport ones now.
I didn't tell Crystal this, but at this time, I'm panicked because I'm like, I didn't pay attention to any of the plans.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. You get to Sweden, you get out, you're like, oh my God, what do we do?
No, I knew. I was like, I already knew I was going to, when he was in the air, I would take that time to send him an itinerary.
He can't read. You're going to have to voice text it.
And I was going to change the car rental to his name from my name. So I had a plan of how I was going to do all
But look, we finally found a thing that makes Tom experience emotion.
Yeah.
Did you go through pre-check, by the way, or did you go the regular security
No,
line?
I went through pre-check.
Okay.
And so we get through security, and
Pull the record on that. He may not have gone through pre-check. He may have gone through regular security.
And by the
He's
way,
quick on the secondary lies. Really good at it.
When I'm standing in security line and I'm looking at and we only have 15 minutes to get to the gate. There's a long, even in pre-check, long ass security line.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, we may not even make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm texting Crystal. I'm like, we may not even make it. And then if we don't make it, we're out the entire flight.
Right, because Delta doesn't care if JetBlue had a delay.
Right.
So that's if I had been on Delta the whole time, I could have said, you guys were delayed getting me here. I missed this. You have to rebook me.
That's why the chat room was saying how risky this is. Yeah, when you use different airlines, it can be risky because they don't play nice.
Yeah. I love risk.
I know you do. look how happy he is.
Except for the game.
It was a $3,500 savings. Like
that's a lot of money.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But then I'm like, oh my
also,
God.
you're getting the worst case scenario. I want to reiterate that like the 3.5 hour delay to anybody else sounds like a reasonable amount. To me, it does. Like I would have been like, oh, it's going to be, that'll be fine.
So
the layover, you mean?
Well, the fact that you had 3.5 hours to go and get your bag before everything started getting pushed back.
It was enough.
I would have opted in, If Andrea tells me, like, hey, we've got 3 hour layover to get our bag and then we're going to jump airlines, I'm not thinking, oh, well, there's a risk there. I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, except for the rolling delay that
you can't plan for the unknown.
Act of God.
So we get our the suitcases in the security check-in or whatever, and then I'm like, man, we got 10 minutes to get there. And then all of a sudden, our bag goes off to the side for extra security checks, so swab. And then I'm like, oh my God, the candles! Because Crystal bought some candles.
Oh, that's right. They don't have candles in Sweden.
Gifts.
I went to Freehand Goods and I bought a bunch of Florida-style gifts for my cousins over there because I wanted to bring them some.
Here's some inferior candles.
The famous Florida candles.
No, I got them other stuff too, like hats and shirts and stuff.
I got you a Budweiser can hat. And
I got them orange blossom candles.
These candles
I
are made
wanted
of
to bring
alligator
a Florida
wax.
essence.
Vibe, yeah.
I brought a whole vibe.
That is very sweet of you.
But the gifts, the candles, like they get
kept
checked.
setting off the security.
Through the security bags. It's like
it was probably the oranges full of weevils, but candles.
It happened in Orlando too, where they had
can't have candles, dog.
They swab them, they put them through the thing to make sure they're not bombs, and then they give them back to you. So all of a sudden, it gets put into a different conveyor, and then behind like 10 other bags.
Yeah, because they're checking a lot.
And these guys, they know we're all stressed in a hurry. They're like taking their freaking time.
Dude, I'm dancing. I'm like, oh my God. Like, please hurry. And the guy is slow.
There's something
he does
about
not care.
Okay, look, I know people hate that. I know they do. But somewhere deep in my subconscious brain, when I see these guys and they're shuffling their feet slow, and girls, and you're going slow, and I know you don't care, I like it a little bit. There's a part of me.
Bullying.
Yeah, there's a part of me that I'm like,
yeah, no, it's like a person who gets in their car in a parking spot and they know you're waiting for the spot, so they sit there a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because they know you're waiting.
As much
so
as
they're like, you're going to wait
as much as I hate it.
as long as I'm ready.
Yeah. They're
you know where I do it?
searching
You know where I catch myself doing it? Self-checkout. Like as that receipt's coming, I'll take an extra 3 seconds to pick my receipt up, and just I'll go slow.
So in the amount of time it takes the guy to go through all the bags, each one, he picks out the thing that needs to be swabbed, puts it in the machine, he's like, clear. But by the way, I'm like, have they found one bomb in these things in the entire, how long? Because think about how many times they swab it and it's always clear. 100% of the time. They probably
but
never
if they
found a bomb.
stop doing it, then people will start sending bombs through again.
Yeah,
True. That'll be the first thing I do.
I don't even think that computer
It would be the first
works.
thing I do. If somebody said, "Hey, do you know they stopped swabbing stuff?" I'm like, "Bomb time, baby."
Anyway,
let's
How
do
many
it.
planes have exploded in midair?
So
They're at 100% success rate right now. All bombs have been caught.
yeah, but anyway, so then I'm like, go. Then Crystal texts me. She's like, I'm in line. I see her on the other side of the
And I
security.
bought more candles.
No, my experience to get to that line, I couldn't believe TC was still in the line when I arrived because I
never
literally
underestimate his speed. Slow.
I waited at the carousel. I deplaned at 4:36 p.m. and I had to be on the other plane at 5:44 p.m. Like I had a little 5 minutes more than an hour.
And there's no time to check the bag that Crystal got. So you know,
So it's got to stay. I guess,
I finally got the bag off the carousel after 35 minutes, and I just started running. And I knew I was already past the hour, but I thought I could find a cleaning person and ask them for trash bags because you can take whatever bag you want. It doesn't have to be a suitcase.
Correct.
So I'm like, I'll just ditch this suitcase and I'll put everything in 2 trash bags. They'll be my 2 carry-ons or whatever.
By the way, Crystal told me, Crystal's like, Alex and my mom said, find a cleaning lady.
I'm naked and I'm carrying trash bags.
Put everything in trash bags.
I took all my clothes off. I'm in my brown panties.
crazy.
And I'm like, they're not going to let us take a trash bag carry-on.
People do.
I covered myself in vomit. They're going to let me on. I'm having 2 trash bags.
And they're like, my mom said people from Jamaica do. I don't know.
I love the idea of your Swedish cousins.
Yeah, read them.
I arrive with a trash bag.
No, you meet your Swedish cousins and you go, hey, I got a present for you. You reach into a trash bag and pull out a candle.
We're on an international flight.
This is an authentic Jamaican Redum condom.
I'm like trying to put the
Just
trash
like-
bag into the overhead and it's all falling out.
And then your Swedish cousins are just like shaking their heads like Florida.
You know, you're going to do that move where you shut it and it's poofing an air bubble, so you just stab it. You have to just stab it with your finger to get the air out of the bag.
Well, I got my bag and I started running, and there was a luggage store in the baggage claim. So I ran in there. I ran in there like I was on roller skates. I threw that bag on the floor and I grabbed.
Y'all got trash can bags in here?
I grabbed 2 carry-ons and I was like, ring me up for these. Here's my watch. And I dinged the thing. The lady helped me move everything into the 2 bags. And I'm like, keep the suitcase. Goodbye. Boop.
She helped you pack your luggage? Federal crime.
That is. Not supposed to do that.
I ran out of there and
She
I
could put a bomb in there.
She could have been working the luggage store just to plant a bomb.
Yeah,
You never
it was
know.
her lucky day. Like, a lot of people probably no BS. I bet a lot of people come in there and like, I need luggage quick.
It
Why
probably
is there a luggage store there?
in the
That
baggage
very
claim
reason.
for the exact reason
Yeah.
because you have to switch terminals and now I don't have time to check my bag. So I go running with these 2 $300 worth of luggage, by the way, for these 2, and they're not even like
you
that
didn't have
nice.
to go to me. Jeez Louise.
You're
I'm
still
running-
saving a little bit of money on the flight, right?
Well, if I make it.
Yeah.
But I was like, what if I don't make it? I have these
Right.
$300 worth of bags.
You could probably take them back and get your trash bags
I
back.
could have, but I went up the escalator and I was in such a frenzy. I wanted to run up the escalator, so I was trying to put the arms down, and one of them slipped out of my hand and went down the escalator, zink, 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 to the bottom, and it was just at the bottom going up, down, 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 up, down, 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 and I'm like
you watched
running
that
down.
for 15 minutes.
I'm running down the escalator while it's going up, and the people all standing nearby on the elevator line are like, oh my God.
Well, the ones that aren't filming you on their phones.
I'm waiting to see.
This is just like that boy WrestleMania.
It was awful. And then I ran, I got on the air train, I ended up in security, and I met up with TC somehow at security. I had peed my pants so bad that there was like literally pee all over my jeans.
Sorry, what?
I peed my pants like running. I was crying. I had to go to the bathroom and I didn't go.
You peed your pants.
It sounds like
I
Crystal
didn't like
could have used-
pee the whole pee, but like when I run, sometimes it's a little.
Yeah.
You know,
when I
and I was
walk, I
running
poop.
really fast.
Dan, what could Crystal have used to alleviate this pee situation?
You could have been carrying 2 trash bags and dressed like a California raisin, and then you could just pee whatever you want.
I was thinking about a pee bag, but that's a good solution.
California
too.
raisin.
We made it with 1 minute to spare.
Yeah.
Like they literally
They were holding the door like it was closing, and we ran up and we got on.
and they closed it in 15 minutes, like before, like I guess
Before departure
or whatever. And then we made it with 1 minute to spare, and I couldn't believe that Crystal made it. Like it was ridiculous. But
done.
that was the start.
Well done.
That was the start of our vacation.
Yeah.
So,
That was day half.
we sat down and we're like, my heart like,
Yeah,
I was just like, oh my God.
And then they gate checked our bags, right? So I have everything in carry-ons now, and she's like,
It smells like a
"Do you
pee in
have,
here."
do you have a battery? Do you have any batteries in your bag?" And I'm like, I don't know. No, I don't think so. No. So she took our bags, and then while we sat down, I'm like, I think I do have one of those like a lithium battery charger in there. So I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Do I tell them before we back out from the gate? So I went up and asked my sister. And she was like, just don't worry about it.
I text Crystal. I'm like, value jet.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
oxygen canisters. Oxygen canisters. You blow your. Oh my God, obliterated.
I know.
I'm like, imagine if that battery starts a fire and then we have to emergency land in Greenland or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they have like oxygen things like fire suppression, but it wets everybody's luggage.
I'm like, why are they taking my word for it?
Then people won't know you peed your pants if everybody's covered in water.
And like, we found the culprit, Crystal Van.
Whose luggage is this?
I was nervous the whole flight. Like,
Raise your hand.
Every little thing. I was like, is that my lithium battery in the
Excuse
cargo
me,
bay?
stewardess. I'm not sure if I have a lithium battery in my bag because I didn't exactly pack it myself.
I had what I believe is I think an immigrant packed it at the luggage store.
A kind stranger here at the airport helped me pack my bag.
I know I had
I'm not
one
exactly sure.
in a carry-on bag, but I don't know which one of these. I have no idea now what's what. I have these 2 new bags. I don't know what's in there.
So let's
Are
talk.
you guys sitting together on the plane?
Sort of close to
Okay,
I'm sitting
good.
next to Max, and TC's in front of us.
Awesome.
So let's talk about Sweden because it's been a long time with the airport. So we get to Sweden, and then we have a 4-hour drive from Stockholm into the countryside because that's where Crystal's family is. And so the last time Crystal was visiting her family in Sweden was 20 years ago in 2005. Right?
That's so cool, man.
And it's funny because I remember when she went, and I remember the pictures of her family's place. It's out in the countryside. There's a lake there. Like this, all the Swedish houses are red, which is a unique thing that you don't see too often. Where at least where we drove, 4 hours north of Stockholm and around the Swedish countryside, all the houses are painted the same, like red and with white trim.
Interesting.
And so
I grew up in a red house.
That is to signify how boring the people are.
It is so cute.
It has to do with something like a long time ago. They used to have some sort of iron, mining, and then or copper. Some
The remnants were red, and you could get cheap paint using the
it may
color.
have been copper.
Like
It was a
oxide or
It was a
something.
copper mine, and then that's what
That's cool.
So like the paint they use, and then that kind of is a traditional.
It delineates
Sweden.
their area of Sweden, I guess, right?
But do white trim so there's white paint around too. So it's boring.
Well, no, and then so they're very cultural over there, and they're very proud of their culture, and so the white trim on the red house is a very Swedish thing, and the government.
White trim.
If you're building a new house there, the government will give you your permit faster if you have red as the paint color than they will if you have any other color.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I don't like the government telling me what.
They don't tell you. They just.
I don't know about
They'll
that.
speed it up if you've got the traditional.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I think I'm going dark green. Hunters.
I'm going a little bit of red with my white and blue, thank you.
It's interesting too because, and we'll get to this later before we'll talk about visiting Crystal's family. But it's funny because I was like, I don't like the government telling me what I can and can't do.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure some people say that.
Yeah, but there's also insane amounts of freedom too because they're not a litigious society. So I'll tell you about the water park we went to and the fact that there's no lifeguards around.
That's
There's
cool.
no rules as much and there's no things are painted yellow. yellow and
they don't even assemble their furniture.
So it's like there's like very little restrictions in other corporate parts of
their
country.
meatballs are weird.
What is a standard home? So like when I'm trying to picture these little red houses like lined up, like what square footage are they? Are they 2-story, 1-story? What are we?
I think they're all over the place.
Do they have a specific style house that is very
IKEA?
Is it small? Is it very small?
Well, it's not that small. It's
efficient though, right? Like
everything's very efficient. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but
IKEA's always been sort of like that.
One cousin, Nina, she lives on a farm with like 6 houses and barns, and they're all humongous and built in 1800.
Oh wow!
And then Lila, the one that we stayed in her house, she has probably a 1,200 square foot 2-bedroom house that,
so just a small...
that they built 5 years ago, but the outside looks exactly the same as the 1800.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's like countryside.
I like that they hold on to that. Yeah, I think that's neat.
So one of the days, and we stayed with Crystal's family. By the way, the most hospitable people in the world, like literally, they gave us their house, their entire house to stay in, and they stayed in an RV
oh, wow.
in the back. So they literally is like, here, you sleep in our room. The kids will sleep in
I would definitely give you the RV.
That's what I said.
I'm RV daddy all day. Yeah, I'm like, you guys are welcome to my RV.
No, but I learned all of a sudden, they did that for us, and I'm like, oh gosh, of course. They like if they come to visit us, we're going to do the same for them. They can have my house.
No, but that's not the American way. That's the Swedish way. You need to do the American way. So
like
you
Best
go to
Western,
closest. You give them a suggestion. You give them they can stay within your home, but it is not a traditional American tradition to give up your bed.
They can't come visit anyway. All the houses are painted different. It would blow their minds.
Well, the last time they were here, I took them out in my old mildew boat.
I remember that.
And the prop I broke the prop. I hit a manatee or something there and it spun the prop.
Killed wildlife. So nothing impresses the Swedes more than killing wildlife.
Well, I didn't know their ways back then. Now I know.
I think I hit a manatee. Reaching that trash bag, get me my manatee finishing gun.
Reaching that. Kudos for the trash bag callback.
But it's funny too because I'll tell you about the dinner. They hosted a
I love
smorgasbord dinner for us.
This looked amazing
in a barn that was built in the 1800s. Like it's so odd that everything over there is so old.
Yeah,
and we're not used to it, right? So like even when we were at the family dinner in the smorgasbord, which by the way they decorated the inside of the barn. I mean it
looked like a wedding venue.
It did. I thought you guys were at a venue until I realized that was their place, and this was really just for you guys and family visiting, and that's dope.
Which, by the way, I didn't know they went because I was like, oh, we're going to go to Nina's house down the road from where we're staying, and they're going to have a dinner. So I was like, okay. Then I walked in, I was like, whoa, it's like this all the time. It's like, no, we did this for you. They built the table.
That's because last time I was at your house, you got 2 Papa John's pizzas. 2. It was like a kid's birthday party. I believe you, Crystal. He says you're going chintzy on the pizza. 2 cheese, 1 cheese, 1 pepperoni. The hell are we doing? Let's roll out the red carpet.
I'm looking at this table and I'm like, my God, this is a nice long king's table.
The barn's so dope.
They're like, oh yeah, we just built this for
this.
You.
What were the flowers?
You built the table.
What were the flowers hanging down?
There's flowers everywhere because in the summertime they have like all these meadows just fill up with wildflowers, and they go out and they pick them and they just put them everywhere.
It doesn't turn night. We're so far north, the latitude's so high that it is like Alaska.
I love latitudes. Met my wife there.
So and we're like there during the longest day. Where, we got to see the midsummer celebration and like the raise.
I'm so glad you guys made that because you were worried about making the celebration because of the flight debacle.
Yeah, because it was at 3 p.m. on Friday and we landed. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but you made it.
In terms of the smorgasbord, Tom, I have so many, I can't decide myself. What Swedish chef joke did you go with?
Well,
I would have never thought of that. I forgot about the Swedish chef.
I was just enjoying myself. They were giving me beers. Oh, yeah. We were taking the shots of schnapps, and they were doing Swedish, cheers songs, and I'm drinking. Yeah. But I'll get to that where I fell off my bike later.
They sang the theme song to Cheers.
I
love this place
because I rode a 1950s bicycle that they had in their barn, literally from the 50s.
Bike.
It looked like it was a World War II bicycle.
It looked like a messenger.
Was green with Yeah.
Yeah, the guy stolen from American GI letter carrier or something.
Do they have their own version of Cheers, or do they just use our norm and everything?
It was like
No, they have their own songs. They have a different toast for every occasion.
Yeah, and the car, Calarg.
But the nicest people too.
Yeah,
like
it looked
everybody
awesome.
there is so polite and so nice. Like it's a pretty amazing place to be, where everybody's just super like,
They're so welcoming. They were so happy to have us. It
looked
felt
like
so nice.
And you could see, like, you had shared one of the posts from one of your relatives and what she was like talking about, like the opportunity to host you, like, and what it made her feel like. I thought that was really touching. It was cool. It's the fact that you guys have verifiable, real family that you can go to in a European country and stay and sign the barn and all. I think it's amazing.
Well, let's talk about that. So then after dinner, we go and they're showing us around the farm that she
How
lived
big?
in, like farmhouse.
Is it a huge farm or just a little guy?
We say farm. There's no farming.
It's just countryside.
There probably used to be back in the day, but it's just like
More like a
there's
collection of barns and houses.
Yeah, barns and houses in like the countryside. So there's a barn door that was signed by her grandfather and other generations of the family that Crystal signed 20 years ago, and then the boys signed or whatever. I'm looking at this door, and
once you sign that barn door, you enter a contract with the devil. You guys know that? I'm writing a movie.
There's signatures from the 1800s on the door,
and they're coming back. This Halloween, they're coming back.
And then like
this Halloween,
like one of the family members' boyfriends or partners was like, "Hey, you want to see my gym? I can tell you
what that means.
I could tell you work out.
Yeah, I can tell you work out. You want to see?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah." So then,
for an American, you are very fat.
You must not like French fries.
Well, yeah, there's so many. Yeah, they don't have the health too that these people live like with actual like no sugar, like all the sodas are anyway. So
sounds great.
I go to this gym that he put some gym equipment in this room that was an old horse stable, right? And it looks like he's working out inside one of the rooms at the St. Augustine Fort.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's got like the doorway is low and everything's kind of like
built
short.
Like in middle of 1800s and stuff. You're just like, you work out.
This is where they used to behead the traitors.
Like everything old is so they're used to it because everything there is old. And then so there's the second story of this barn, and the boys were up there and they found an old bookcase, right?
Oh, they found a book of spells. This goes in my movie.
Absolutely.
This goes in my movie.
They
find the writings of old Jebediah.
The prophecy.
They start reading his prophecy.
It looked like something in a museum, like something behind, like you couldn't touch. Like they were opening up books, and then they were from the early 1800s. There was one from 1742, which I was like, wait a minute, they had books back then.
Well, we really wanted to know, like, when was the printing press made?
No, seriously, Ross, I was like
1742.
I was like 1740. That's before the United States.
They didn't even have American. They had books. What the hell kind of paper is that?
I'm like, they wrote the Declaration of Independence by pen.
Is this the first Bible?
That's how little I know about history.
Human skin they done wrote on.
Yeah, like I doubted it that they actually had the printing press. I had to look it up on my phone.
It's supposed to belong to Pharaoh.
That there's Cleopatra's Bible.
Everything we're wandering. I'm like, you live here. This would be like a museum in St. Augustine. It's like where you live. Like there's things on the floor.
Well, I mean, obviously their culture is allowed them.
It's just older.
Well, they are taught to appreciate that sort of stuff, right? Like I would imagine that sort of stuff has value to it.
Man, I don't need any of that old crap. I'll give me a Dan Brown book at Walmart. I'm all good to go.
It was insane how old everything is.
That's cool.
And
the boy signed the barn?
Yeah.
That's neat.
And then, so then we were leaving there. I got on my 1950 bike, and then there's gravel in the front of the house.
They drink a lot.
Oh yeah.
They were, and I don't know if it was because we were there. I think that's probably true. Like they're staying up later, and they're like offering, and so TC was offered a gin and tonic at the end of the night. And it's light outside, so it's 11 p.m. and it looks like it's 6
and
o'clock.
You just gotten back from having sex with that boy in the gym.
I started drinking gin and tonics, and because it gets...
How fancy did you feel drinking a gin and tonic?
Well,
Pretty fancy,
after
right?
all the beers at dinner and the shots, I was feeling it. And then I get on my bike, I fell over in the front yard when
everyone was outside saying goodbye.
Very American to fall off a bike. Very American.
And then I was like, I was wearing sandals, by the way.
They're like, look, just like the President Biden.
yeah, there he is. Same memory.
And it is weird that it never actually turns to night, and it just gets like the sun goes down, but it's like dusk. And then that's the night.
Huh, so there's like never any dark or use for candles at all, ever?
In the wintertime, there is.
Yeah, and that's why
it's always dark.
Yeah, and that's when I realized, like, oh man, winter's rough here when it's like just all the time night, pitch black a lot.
Yeah, I wonder how that would be after the first month. How long does it last? The 24-hour night.
I'm sure you adapt, but I grew up in Pennsylvania and we didn't get a lot of sun, but now that I live here in Florida, if it's cloudy for 2 days, I get grumpy.
Yeah, I know they use candlelight to.
They need that.
Yeah, it's it gives you more of a sun
Aren't
type
there
of
special
light.
lamps too?
I don't know. There might be. I didn't see any.
Hey man, Jewish people got special ovens.
But all their lantern areas, over the dining table, they all are for actual candles.
And I just want to clarify, Dan, you're talking about the Sabbath ones that turn on Sunday for observant Jews. I just want to.
Thank you for circling
back.
It was
a little bit circumspect. I just want to clarify.
I'm glad you circled back on
Absolutely.
that. Thank you.
By the way,
real pro over here.
During dinner, I had to stop myself from just making fun of America because that's what I go to, which I think it was uncomfortable for them because
really,
because they're about pride in your country and stuff, and then so they not I was just talking about how I love the Swedish culture and and then they were
well, they mentioned that they pay $500 a year for homeowners insurance, right? And then we were like, my God, we pay $5,000 a year or whatever. And then it's well, what do you pay for this? And they're like, nothing. And we're like, oh my God, we pay. How much maternity leave do you get? Well, we don't get any. And it just kind of went down that road. And then
but how much freedom do they got?
Hey, we know.
Well, I was about to tell you the water park freedom.
Can I bring my trash bags to your country freely or not?
Which they were. I was like, well, we don't have too much culture in the United States.
We got Brock Lesnar, man.
I just googled it. 0 eagles in Sweden. Not one eagle.
Yeah. I was like, it's because everybody here is Swedish. We have a bunch of different culture, really. Everybody's got different culture.
Well, I think that's our culture.
But there's no really American culture that you could say
you want a purebred culture. No. Yeah, it's very in right now.
We were just comparing. That's all.
And then they're like, well, you guys have 4th of July coming up. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I was embarrassed to say, for our American culture, we just blow up Chinese trash in the air.
But it's not just that. There are plenty of people that, if you were in a military household, you would probably have some things that mirror the same thing. But.
No, I guess it was just more everybody there recycles a certain way, right? They have 6 cans under the sink one is for organic composting, one is for plastic, one is for metal, one is for glass.
Do they know
everybody
that
does
one for paper?
One is for paper.
Do they know that recycling's fake?
It's not
I
over
was telling them, I was like, in Florida, they just tell us that
it's fake.
Take it all to
in
the
America, recycling is fake.
They're like, why would you do that?
So why would it be real there? So who verified that it's real there? It might be fake. I'm telling you.
Tom, you are the Swedish Yakov Smirnoff to tie the two halves of AC together. You went to Sweden and said, in America, we don't even really recycle.
In America, we have 6 cans. That's just 3 women. That's a decent joke, I think, for Yakov. Maybe
off top of your head?
Probably a little too dirty. Probably a little too dirty.
Real quick, and I'm going to tell the Hut story in the BDM show. Because
if you want to hear that, you got to sign up. That's a.
But you got a story about the Weeknd's new album. Hurry Up Tomorrow.
So we spent 3 days hanging out with family. It was awesome. It's so nice. It really cool. That we should have stayed there the whole time, honestly, because that was the coolest part. But so on the drive down to Stockholm, Crystal found this indoor water park.
If you like pee outside, you'll love pee inside.
And it was kind of a way to bring, give the boys something like, because I wouldn't have chosen a water park. Obviously, we come from Orlando. Like the last thing I want to go to is some amusement park.
I just thought we'd be sitting in the countryside for 3 days, not doing anything exciting for them. And then 2 days in a wilderness hut. And I thought, let's give them a little excitement.
It looked like one of those, what's that company that Meow Wolf? Is that right? Is that the name of it? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Those crazy theme parks that are all like sort of indoors. That's what it reminded me of. Like, it looked like that very modern-y, like, is it quiet inside there? Like, describe the...
No, it's like music and lights. It's like a club happening.
That's what I mean. Like, I think that this is a kind of a new thing that maybe started in Europe just because of the weather.
It was an old factory, yeah. Like, and you could tell it was probably more busy in the winter. Like,
right.
The locals are like, I'm not going inside. Like, this is the only time they could be outside is the summer.
Right.
Like, everybody in the summer, everybody's outside. Like,
I get my 3 months of sunshine.
Yeah, because it is only 3. And that also, they appreciate it a lot more. They're like, when it's light outside, we're staying up as late as possible. We're getting as much as possible because winter's coming, and there's a lot of Game of Thrones stuff that I found out in like Stockholm. Like a lot of Game of Thrones stories came obviously out of Europe but Stockholm too. But so we're in this water park, and I didn't really experience this before because we're in the Swedish countryside and whatever, we're not out in public that much. But I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, Europe is there's no. Suing in Europe is less litigious, so they let people kind of do what they want, and they're like, hey, you're responsible for yourself. Don't drown in here.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, watch your kids.
Watch your children.
Was it the same basic process? Did you have to fill out a form?
No
or
form.
Click a thing?
I didn't have to show an ID or fill out
nice.
That's
nice.
And also,
no waiver.
It was cheap.
No waiver.
Yeah. So
it was like $18.
Oh, come on now. That's fantastic.
So there's a rock climbing wall.
I saw Tommy doing this. That looked amazing.
But wait, there's no life. I saw 2 lifeguards. Like one at the beginning. Like there's one upstairs, and that's it. Like,
one of them's just a dummy.
Like
this place was like a maze of walls, and it's dark, and you can't see. If you're standing over here, you can't see anything going on over there.
Like blind spots. Like
Oh, so it was IKEA design.
It's a drowning hazard for sure.
Like that mall that old man died inside. Yeah.
But it's like there's a floating I can only describe it as like a bounce house without walls that's tied up to the rafters that is like in about chest high, maybe chin high of water, and
You're just showing a platform.
There's kids climbing on it, flinging off and there's not even a lifeguard watching them. Yeah. And I'm like, yes.
And I know
like
you
awesome. The walls are like tiled. They're just like bumping into the walls with their heads.
Yeah. And I know what you think. There could be a pedophile hiding in there. No pedophiles in Sweden. I don't know if you know that.
Just like to make sure your kids don't get pedophile doesn't get them. Like it's your responsibility.
Yeah, you better be
watch your kids. I love that.
Yeah.
Like there's also, it's weird too. Like the sodas, all 0 sugar. Like at a water park,
except Coke. You can get
you can get a Coke. Okay.
But everything else, any Fanta, Sprite, it's all 0.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand that. It's
that is weird.
It's all health oriented. It's like you don't want the kids sugar.
And you can't buy caffeine unless you're 15.
Isn't
that weird?
I don't necessarily hate that.
It's supposed to be. It's
really
18 here. Like you're not supposed to be able to buy a Monster or whatever unless you're 18.
Really?
But in the
I didn't know that.
In the free state of Florida, you can buy anything you want.
But like a Coke Zero or something like that. Because I remember I bought some vitamin drink at the grocery store.
It was after you met that boy in his gym, right? You were hanging out with him. You felt like the need to be more healthy.
And I was in self-checkout, and they were like, "Oh, cashier needed for approval."
Crystal needs a bag.
And
bags are in here, man.
And I was like, "What the hell? I didn't buy any alcohol or whatever." And they're like, "Oh, she put in her code, and she's like, oh, it's because of caffeine. You have to be 15 to buy caffeine." I was like, "Oh, interesting."
I don't hate that.
Yeah. But
I don't have a problem with that. After seeing kids like collapse after drinking Red Bulls and stuff, come on.
Yeah.
You don't need that garbage.
But
that's awesome.
I do, but they don't.
Did you go down? Did you go down on the slides?
Yeah. They had one where, and like they were letting at the beginning of every typical water park, there's a an employee standing there asking, like, letting the kids down or whatever. This is like
at the top of the slide, making sure the bottom of the slide's clear.
Well, that's to make sure your heads don't hit together.
Correct.
And there's a green light, a red and green, to tell you when to go.
Yeah.
Like, and most people are following it, but there's some kids are just going three at a time or whatever. Like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And there's no one at the bottom to be like, "Hey, you kids, get out!" Like, it was just
if
like,
he
"Hey."
dies, he dies.
It's just like, they let people do what they want.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Unless it's painting your house a color other than red. Other than that,
That's the trade.
good to go.
That's the trade. You gotta have a red house with it. If you go to the water park, you get ripped.
I was like, I wish I could show someone the lifeguard that stands at Fort Wilderness splash pad during the winter and watches nobody at a splash pad and the insurance
And there's not even a body of water in there.
There's nowhere to drown, but a lifeguard literally has to stand there because the insurance agency
50
is like,
degrees outside. Feet are
every
getting wet.
water
Could rain.
Yeah.
Fill up with rainwater and a child could stumble in there.
Yeah. And anyway, so I'll tell you about the hut and the Eco Lodge that we stayed at.
Yes.
And the BDM show.
And on the BDM show, I'll tell you about that secret firework that Craig doesn't want to sell you, but I'll tell you about it.
Hey, I
the
wanna
Pirate
get
Spot
that.
fireworks were awesome.
I wanna get that.
Are you going to be there later today?
I'll probably be at the tent tonight. I'm in the warehouse a lot. I want fireworks.com. If you do a warehouse order and you come by and I'm there, I will give you something free off of our weird remainders palette.
All right.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Just a bunch of stuff, weird stuff.
Well, I'm glad you guys had an awesome trip. It sounded absolutely amazing. I would be planning to go back if I had family there. I'd be like, man, we got to do this all the time.
Sign that door.
It's getting out to Europe is
Hard.
a long,
Especially with 4 people. That's not easy. But you guys did it. You did it. Well done.
but yeah, I'll tell you about the Eco Lodge and the moose hunt and all that. Some Stockholm
I know what
stuff
a moose hunt is.
on the BDM show, and we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube. Come hang out with us. Just search for @Tom and Dan Live. There's tons of video content on there and custom 4K replays of every single day in the studio that you can go and watch at your leisure. Pretty proud of the channel. It looks really, really nice, and we'd love for you to check it out.
Next Saturday, July 12th, we are doing a family skate-a-thon courtesy of Mo DeWitt.
Yes.
And Mo DeWitt is renting out Cimarron Skateway from 5 to 7 p.m. You need to register at justcallmo.com/skate. And once you register, you could fill out the waiver that everybody, you don't need a bunch of lines of people filling out the waiver day of. We only have
it online.
2 hours. Do it online. And then that way you just come right inside. And
it's
then,
like, remember in Highlights magazine, Goofus and Gallant. Gallant would go to the Cimarron Skateway website and fill out his form online so he would get in with his family quickly. Goofus would wait till the day of, and he'd be trying to do it, and he'd be yelling at his family, right?
This is officially the closest event that's ever been to my house.
Are you guys going to walk? I think you should walk.
Oh, yeah. We're
I think
walking.
you should walk.
In your backyard, right?
Yeah.
I ran by it this morning. It would be funny, though, if we drove, just because they were so cool.
You know what you should do? You should helicopter.
Okay, all right. Rent a helicopter.
Yeah. Rent a helicopter to come and land in the cul-de-sac, pick you up, and then fly you over.
Over your house, over the backyard.
Yeah. I think that'd be incredible.
I like it.
All right. Do you want the new Weird Job song?
Let's
you
do
ready
it.
for all right,
Let's
this
do it.
one's weird. This is a weird one, but I think
I can
you
handle it. Hold me.
Here we
Let's
go.
go.
Here we go. Weird Job. Oh, no, wrong one. Okay, it's this one. Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry. That was a different
Here
one.
we go.
It's this one. I hit the wrong button.
Job, big fat slob, work all day, go home and sob. Hate my wife, hate my life, cut my head off with a knife. Sweet relief, easy sell, trapped inside my weird job hell. Please somebody kill me. Please somebody kill me. Please somebody kill me. Somebody kill me. Please somebody kill me. Somebody kill me. Please somebody kill me. Somebody kill me. Please somebody kill me.
All right.
Pretty good.
There you go.
That was pretty good.
It's one of my most avant-garde designs.
That was pretty good.
It's one of my most avant-garde designs I think
like
I've
it.
ever done.
How to get so far away?
It is. That one goes out to. That one right there goes out to all of it. That goes out to the troops.
I feel bad because it doesn't really pertain
That's
to
for the
my
troops.
life in any way, shape, or form. I love what I do.
That one was for the troops. Okay,
That's our decision, Corey. I'll decide if
you don't get
you
to
like your
decide.
job or not.
My gig is very different from that. I actually like my job a lot. I get big breaks in between my gigs, so I don't ever get that Monday through Friday drain where, like, by Friday I'm ready to, jump off the bridge. So.
Well, we've got Corey in studio with us.
Thanks for
and
being here. Hold on, I'm going to give you a blast.
Corey's been a listener for a while. How long you been listening, Corey?
Well, I've been friends with Daniel for, I don't know,
How long?
2000, 2002 era, right when you came on, actually.
Yeah.
I actually went to a party at your house over in the UCF area with Natalie and Erica.
Whoa, Natalie, don't I told you not to talk about Natalie and Erica. Oh, my God, that's Frog Pajama. Frog Pajama.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. No.
That far ago. Yeah.
Hold on, I got to bleep that out.
Where?
You tread lightly.
Somewhere, University
Yeah.
Club?
Don't ask
University
questions.
Club.
Don't stop asking
That was
questions.
before
There
the
was-
radio.
Crystal's going to kick our goddamn door down and kill us all.
There was also
Never talk about Natalie.
Was that my neighbors?
I'm not sure. There was something about a dirt bike too in the in the
we were
in the
giving
kitchen or
Nasty
something.
Natalie some dirt bike rides.
I don't know.
We were giving Nasty Natalie dirt bike.
I had my dirt bike in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I go
Where's
far.
the other roommate? It was me, Pudge, and the Grizz, and then another roommate that wore a trench coat. And
It's like Grandma's boy.
And he loved the dirt bike in the living room.
I actually,
sure he did.
I was
I'm sure
Daniel's date actually for Hamburger Mary's opening downtown Orlando.
I remember when he went to that.
Yeah, I was with him on that night. So that's how far back we go.
Yeah.
So
Long
hold on.
way.
Back to you. How were you were in some random
Party, bro.
party at University
I got
Club?
brought to a party.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
with
we were
people
giving
that
Nasty
you knew.
Natalie dirt bike rides.
How'd you remember it was me? Because that was way before
You
the
had your
radio.
shirt off. You were revving the dirt bike in your kitchen. You were going crazy.
No, I got reintroduced to you through the radio. Somehow I knew you at that time period as well. But yeah, it was through Natalie and Erica, and that's how I got involved with all of you guys, particularly. And that was like 25 years ago, man.
God.
Yeah. 25 years
Wild.
ago.
It's absolutely wild.
And here we are today.
There used to be a pizza place in Deltona too called Brooklyn Pizza, and the pizzas were do you remember that?
Sure.
The pizzas were like ginormous.
Yeah.
They were like so big they wouldn't fit in your door.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to have some big parties at your place.
Yeah,
It was fun.
I mean, the Deltona was
Way later. Way later.
8 years after.
8 years after that.
Yeah. Or so, anyway, so we've known you a long time.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
So let's talk about your job.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So I am an infrared digital audio distribution technician. So I'm an audio engineer.
All right.
Fancy audio engineer. So
You're a sound guy.
I'm a sound. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly
Made
what
it
it
sound too fancy.
But it is
When
fancy.
do we just start calling podcasters garbage men? Because it's all audio garbage. Why
Right.
don't we just say, when
Right.
people ask me, what do you do? I'm like, I am a garbage man.
Right.
I create audio garbage all day long.
Polluting the digital world.
We are. That's a great billboard. Polluting the digital world, Tom and Dan.
Yeah, we're saving
Garbage
too
men.
much garbage. No
Yeah.
one's going back and listening to it or watching it.
We're Orlando's favorite garbage men.
But every show on YouTube is too much.
So the equipment is actually for like security purposes. So when you're in an area where you don't want the information to be leaked out with radio frequency, it's very easy to pick up that signal outside of those four walls, right? But with infrared technology, the photon dies as soon as it hits the wall. No information passes through the wall. It can't be recorded outside of the space unless you're inside of it. And then even if you're inside the room, you have to have specialized equipment just to capture the audio. So like government meetings, anything high-level security for like corporations, i.e. Google, Amazon, those types of things, I get sent in. We set up the equipment. That way we can disseminate the audio throughout the room, but it doesn't get captured outside of the room. So only people with security clearance on the inside can hear what's being said. Nothing gets outside of the room.
And nothing can be recorded?
Negative. Nothing.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
lots of people don't know it's a thing. Yeah.
So you essentially...
I didn't even understand what you said.
Okay, so essentially, like, they're having this super classified meeting.
Correct.
Well, I mean, I would imagine that a lot of those are going on right now
All the time.
because... I mean, the world is a spicy place.
It is a spicy place.
And then they're like, we cannot have anything from this meeting get out, and especially be recorded.
Sure.
Especially, like, think about, because everything after that, it's being recorded in someone's memory, but that's hearsay.
So this is
so it's like, if you want to say something to your company that you don't want any possibility of any getting out.
We killed the children. Right? Like something like that. If you want to say we killed the children, if I would have run into, we killed them all. And I run in there and I got to tell everybody, my God, we killed them. And then you've already said, this is a sophisticated version of Tony Soprano turning on classic rock in his basement.
Correct. Okay. Very, very complicated.
All right.
Very complicated.
Now I get it. And all the dum-dums do too.
So, okay, let's go back to the equipment.
Sure.
This is badass.
Yeah, it is cool.
I didn't know equipment or this existed where, we're talking. So say, okay, if I am in this meeting and I turn on the recorder on my phone, the audio recorder, and this equipment disables that or makes it so it cannot hear the actual
So
audio?
if you were recording with your cell phone in the room, right, like just turn on the voice recorder, sure, you could capture any ambient sound that's taking place around you, right? But you're not going to pick up what's on the microphone. You're not going to pick up what's being sent through the system or any additional audio. All of that gets channeled through our system, and we actually send it out to a receiver that the audience has to wear on their lanyard.
What?
With a headphone. So I'll explain to you the way the technology works.
Okay,
it's actually it's actually simple once I break it down. So the front of your television has a infrared receiver, okay? And your remote control at home is an infrared transmitter. The remote control sends a light signature out of the tip of the remote control, and the receiver on your TV picks up that light signature and then goes through your menus, change the channel up, change the channel down. It recognizes that signature as something to do. Well, we do the same thing. We take the audio signature from a source, we feed it through the system, it turns into that photon, it travels out over the audience, it hits the receiver. Instead of changing the channel up or changing the channel down, going through your menus, that signal then just becomes a digital audio source that we pipe in through the headphones, and that's how the system works, rudimentarily. That's the basics of how it works.
Yeah.
So if you don't have specialized equipment that can read that light signature, there's no way for you to capture it. And you would have to have that equipment inside the room because that signal is not getting outside the room. It's also a digital audio signal too, so it sounds like CD quality, which is the next thing that goes into why this is a service that's sought after. With radio frequency, you're going to deal with interference.
Sure.
You're going to hear cracks, pops, all that stuff. This is digital. It sounds like a CD. It's perfect audio.
Is it
crazy?
And so, and wow, that's kind of blowing my mind.
Yeah,
that's
so
wild.
what's the who is using this and
Sure.
for what purposes?
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
Sure. So, like I mentioned, it's all about security, right? And secret stuff. So, Secret Service uses it all the time. I'm at the United Nations for UN Week in September. So, anytime that countries are having secret meetings or, let's say France wants to talk to Spain about agricultural things, the leaders will actually have meetings in these different hotels around New York City. And we have to be there with translators and this equipment so that we can pipe the audio into a booth where the translators are sitting. They can do their interpretation. It goes back through the system. I broadcast it to the participants so they can hear in their native languages.
Wow,
So
that's dope as hell.
That's the other reason that the technology
that's
exists.
wild, man.
So now, but they're using you, a
Correct.
third-party company.
Yeah.
So I imagine that you have to go through some crazy security clearance because you could have the ability to record all these secret meetings, technically, without their knowledge. So I'm sure.
Hey, kid. You want to know what France and Spain are doing in agriculture? I got the
I
got the
That's
agriculture.
just it. I mean, it is top secret, but it's like, I mean, I haven't heard anything about aliens or anything about war. That's like different layers of security. This is like,
what about something
fundings and things of that nature
would have a impact on stocks?
Oh, interesting. Sure.
Or what about when our last pope used the F word for gays in a secret meeting?
Because you're in a meeting and then you're exposed to Zuckerberg screaming at Musk about something that you realize you're like, oh, Facebook is going down. And then it's like you got that information that could be worth millions.
It could.
So I'm sure they don't want you to know that.
No. But then again, I'm also not the mental, foreseer of hey, I should take advantage of this information, or I heard this, I should do that.
Well, that's where I come in.
Yeah.
Because if you tell me anything, if you're like, hey, I'm in this crazy meeting, and Apple's CEO is sweating crazy, and then you just text me what happened, or even the audio, I'll take the audio, full script actually, and then and then one day there'll be a suitcase in your backyard that for your time.
I think I'm more like Daniel in that regard. When I'm there on site, I'm hyper focused on the equipment working properly, and there's a lot of little things that can go wrong.
Sure.
And if they do go wrong, you have to be on top of it. So you know where all your connection points are. You know what the timings of your radiators are. If something drops, you can put something back in. There's so much that's happening in real time that if you take your eye off of it and something fails, you're not going to be able to fix the situation.
How many?
So I'm on it the entire time. I'm barely even hearing what's being transmitted out to the audience. I'm so hyper focused on my record. Because it's a one-man band a lot of the time. I show up, I set up everything by myself, I test everything by myself, I make sure the interpreters are good to go, make sure all the equipment's running, all the participants can hear correctly, and at the end I got to strike everything on my own. So the actual what's happening in the room matters very little to me. My concern is that the participants can hear, that the record sounds great, all of those weird technical things that no one ever thinks about. That's the only thing that I can think about.
How many redundancy sort of situations do you have?
A lot. Yeah. Everything has a backup. Everything's pre-programmed and ready to rock and roll. So if something fails, I can open a case and flip it out. It's on. You gotta be. You gotta be, or you're screwed.
How many companies like this exist? Is it? I'm guessing a lot. If the huge companies and governments are using this technology for the meetings, is this standard for most part?
No, it's not standard. I wouldn't say that you were going to see this in a lot of meetings. When I say high-end meetings, I'm talking executive stuff for Google, executive stuff for Amazon.
So you're top 10%,
yes,
or maybe even
this is rarely
higher.
This is rarely used. And then the other area that this gets used quite a bit, and we're seeing more growth in this space, is silent conferencing, where these companies are doing these humongous conferences in one space, but they have 6 stages set up. So when you're walking through the actual convention floor, you don't hear the stages, because it's all done through our headset system, and you can only hear what's being said at the stage if you're standing in front of it.
They've been talking about this too for bigger
silent disco.
In dance competitions,
Exactly.
there were 3 stages where Maisie was at. For instance, I would imagine when the technology gets cheaper and easier, this is what will happen, because they have to put them in so far away from each other because the speakers are just so loud and they're just massive, and this puts a much smaller footprint for a lot of people. pretty clever.
So I understand the fact that you're not paying attention, you're focusing on the equipment,
Right.
but not to keep going back to it, but you're being exposed to sensitive, giant corporate information.
Sure.
That I'm surprised
Well,
that
it's sensitive if you need it.
If you need it, right.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying sensitive to maybe predicting what's going to happen. Like that's why people go to jail for insider trading,
Sure.
because if you're in the inside and you hear like, "Hey, we're about to report a bad quarter and our stock is going to drop,"
Sure.
like
Right.
if you know that before, that's why it's illegal. Like, and then the random sound guy that is running the equipment.
Well,
is
you're
like,
under contract, I'm assuming.
Absolutely,
and then
yeah,
if
yeah,
something
yeah.
happens, they're going to know who did
Yeah.
it. I mean,
You sign non-disclosure stuff all the time.
Yeah. But as you tell you like some guy that's completely untraceable from where you are.
the completely untraceable
Man,
No,
defending the monster is like a thing in this
Yeah,
dude's
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's about
Like,
it.
now we're late, so we're screwed, Corey. See, because now
He's literally obsessed with cheating.
Yeah. He really is.
Who is it? That's how you get rich. President.
He's
I know.
obsessed with cheating.
Don't you see?
Yeah.
Don't you see?
Oh, we see it.
That's how they get it.
It's not going to happen
The
for
thing
us.
is,
It's
rules
not-
only
we're not
exist.
those
this is
guys.
how it can happen.
It's not going to happen for us.
Corey just tells me,
Yeah, I
and
know.
then
The secrets.
all
Yeah.
you need, and I. it
Where'd
doesn't
you
have
make
to
your
be-
money? On France and Spain's agriculture. We were betting on trees.
You know, but you
Yeah,
see, if the president of France is like, man, we got this mite that ruined our forests, that,
might is killing all our trees.
like this stock, like this agriculture business is going to be tank. Like you know that information, you could turn it into millions.
I mean,
Like,
I guess. Where do you
don't-
bet on
I
that?
don't know.
And then you go to the stock market, you get some investors, and you start investing heavy into this insider
Too
information.
much work.
You want to get rich?
I'm one of those guys. It'd be easier.
Yeah.
Just get a regular job. Sorry.
Back to your job. So now, where is this taking place? Like, do you have to go to some weird locations, or is it usually just conference halls and
conference
hotels? and
center.
stuff?
Yeah, it's typically conference centers, hotels, things of that nature. Every once in a while, you get to go to somewhere cool like the UN building, or you get put up in like swanky hotels and stuff, like in Vegas. That's always a fun run.
Yeah. The UN, they ain't gonna do no Best Western.
No, they're not. Actually, I get put up in the Millennia One Plaza.
Wow.
Which is, they got like, I don't know if you've ever seen that hotel or whatever. It's right across the street from the UN. There's like 5-star hotels, and then there's this thing. Like, this has like the automatic Japanese toilets, like everything.
Heated marble.
It's literally kept together for world leaders. Like, literally,
So
that's what it's there for.
The most important people
On the planet stay in this hotel.
Yeah.
And during UN
when
week, they're all
I
in the
become
same
president, I'm leveling at Best Western. All you dumb world leaders,
Yeah.
you sons of bitches.
building. Yeah.
So, how many people on a team have to do this, and how long does it take to set up the equipment,
Sure.
and what kind of equipment are we talking?
Well, I was going to throw, and people love this one.
Sure.
Not only what kind of equipment, to piggyback his question, like if you had to round about how much money are we talking that you're,
For the
equipment
rig?
you're working with? Yeah.
Well, it's not cheap.
I bet.
The equipment is very expensive, and I'm responsible for it when I'm on site, which is another layer of
Yeah.
anxiety that you got to deal with. For instance, the little receivers that go around the lanyards that the participants wear, each one of those costs $350.
Jesus.
We could have thousands on site, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The head units are thousands and thousands of dollars. Each emitter panel, and sometimes we have to have 50, 60 on site. Those are thousands and thousands of dollars.
So hundreds
each.
of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't really give you an exact figure,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
somewhere
yeah.
between hundreds of thousands and $1 million.
Yeah,
Somewhere
you're-
in that ballpark for every show.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
And like, what's your schedule like?
Sure.
Do you never know like when you'll have to? Oh, I got to fly to New York because
Right.
this conference is happening. Like, or is kind of your next 6 months planned out?
Right. So that's the difficult thing about being an audio technician, especially a traveling technician, right? Is that we don't really have a build out of what our year looks like in any way, shape, or form. Now, I've got my usuals. I know that, in July, I got this coming up. September, I got this coming up, because it's like annual things that I do. But for the most part, like, conventions typically are only planned out a year in advance. And by the time they realize that they want this technology on site, it's usually like a month or two beforehand. And sometimes it's a scramble because they didn't even know they needed the technology. They have no concept of how it works. And sometimes that's kind of a bad thing because we show up on site with the wrong equipment or not enough equipment.
Right.
And then we're scrambling to make things work. Perfect example. So this past event that I just did, I was just in Boston last week. I went up and did a silent conferencing seminar for a group called Boston Scientific. Now, what Boston Scientific does is they take doctors from around the country. You fly to Boston, and they teach you how to use the latest and greatest in medical tech. So this one happened to be endoscopies and colonoscopies.
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
butt cam.
Right. So they had the mannequins on the table. They had the latest and greatest cameras. And just like the conventions floor space that I was talking about earlier, everything was broken up into little groups. So the doctors just wore our equipment, and they just went from station to station. And as they moved from station to station, the equipment automatically switches over to where they were standing because I had the rads right there, and everything was broken down to channel. So as they moved throughout the room from station to station, their equipment automatically switched to the person that was giving the class.
That's cool,
Sorry,
man.
keep it in my mic.
No, you're good.
Yeah, so in that scenario, I show up a day ahead of time. I set up all the equipment, and then the other thing that I have to do is time my radiators, right? So the light comes out from the rad, and when it hits the receiver, if there's multiple light signatures coming at the same time, or like the radiators aren't timed properly, all the receiver is going to do is make a clicking sound in your ear. And the reason it does that is because it's listening to multiple signals at once. It can't determine which one it's supposed to pick up, so it just clicks in your ear. So you have to show up a day ahead of time, you have to set up your ads, and then you have to aim everything and then set the timing. So if you're standing in one particular spot in the room, all of the light exits the emitter panel and then hits the receiver relatively at the same time.
So so do you have special equipment to help you time the light?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's and
yeah.
So you
I
just
actually brought a receiver. I'll show you guys after the.
Oh, okay, cool. So you just have to like walk it. So once you're set up, you just have to walk it and trigger it yourself.
Correct. So what I do is what I do in that scenario is I put the system in test. And what that does is it provides 9 channels with a K-tone. And it's various tones of the K-tone. So it's a beep, boop, bop. I can wear the headset and walk around the room, and the K-tone will change depending on what channel I'm on and what station I'm at.
And that's how you know.
And that's how I know the audio signal is clean, too, because the K-tone is consistent. It's just boop.
Yeah,
so if you hear any cracks or whatever the situation is, you know immediately. And then I just keep tweaking the system until it sounds right. And then once it sounds right, I'm locked in. I usually put tape on like switches and stuff I don't want people to touch.
Yeah.
And then I leave the system on, and I'll let the system run for a day or two if it has to stay on for that long. But after I set it, I don't mess with it after that. And then I just make really good notes as far as like where my BNC barrel connections are in my SDI line and all of that jazz.
Yeah.
So I have like a floor plan of like something fails. I know I need to check these 5 spots first. This is the next point. This is the next point.
You make a quick contingency.
Yeah,
to
always.
walk through.
Everything has a plan. Yeah.
What does it cost for a company to bring you in and do like a meeting, or I don't know, like
you want to talk about my day rate? Is that what is that literally what you're asking? What my day rate is?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's just like if like let's say I have this company and I'm about to tell some of my high level employees that we're effed because
we killed the children.
right.
Remember?
Full Anakin Skywalker.
We're effed, we're effed because we killed the children.
I paid these.
Put on your secret lanyard so I can tell you how bad it is.
I paid some of Miami buddies to get rid of these gopher tortoises out of this land that I got a developer deal on. Anyway,
they found the skulls.
The goddamn my ex-wife found out. She changed herself to a tree. And anyway, now the news media is involved. Oh, we're going down. Anyway, so I'm telling them this, and I'm like, I don't want anybody recording. And then I'm also skeptical of the sound guy. I'm like, is that guy recording?
Who
us?
are you?
He could be selling our information. It's worth a lot of money.
Right.
Do I know you? Is your name Corey?
I'm pretty sure I would walk out of that meeting, by the way. If it was the meeting started off with, "Hey, we just killed all the children," I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'd have to shut the equipment down at that point and be like, "Listen, guys, I don't know what we're doing
everything on my phone because I'm releasing this to TMZ immediately."
And like, I don't really know if they're dead, but the bulldozers flattened them. They entombed them good.
I mean, they're definitely in a different. They're in a different way.
They're not going anywhere.
They're in a different way.
We also got rid of some bald eagles that were missing. Anything that would have,
gonna hate
I forgot to tell you at Dollywood they have a whole enclosure and it's just filled with bald eagles. So many, there's like 100 bald eagles in there.
One in a tree, you can't develop nothing. Anyway, so I got to tell 50 people in this conference center, and I wanted secret bringing you in. What's that going to cost me?
Well, you would have to talk to a project manager at one of the firms that I work for in order to do that, and all the firms are different, so it's hard for me to give you like a proposal, like an imaginary proposal.
Like $7,000, $10,000,
like
thousands. Right?
I'll give you like the formula, right?
Okay.
So like each radiator costs X amount of dollars to rent per day.
Okay,
and then you calculate how many days the event is. How many each receiver is X amount of dollars per day, however many days, and then as a project manager for one of these companies, though, like the art form there is the sale, right? So like you can do the rudimentary math and make it really simple for yourself, that this equals this, and this is the total price. But that doesn't really work that way in the event space. Like when you cross-rent equipment from a big company, you'll tell them that your event's for 5 days. They may charge you 2.5, something like that. So when you're trying to sell something to a client, and then you have this big number because you have 2,000 receivers, each receiver's $5 to rent, and your event is 6 days long. Like you start doing that math, it seems like a huge number. So what project managers will do will give you a break on this and then give you a break on that for this many days. So it's like really hard for me to give you a
so it's very a la carte.
Absolutely, because every event is different.
Yeah, and
every situation.
Yeah, because especially with the timing aspect of it, I mean, you're basically going in there and building your own architecture within the room for the people.
Right.
Like the one that you talked about with the doctors, it's amazing to think that the doctors, how much better is their presentation because they don't have to go and get on a different stage.
Right.
They can just continuously walk and the whole presentation is never interrupted. That's an amazing luxury to have.
It is, yeah.
And you would pay for that.
Exactly. Doctors, right?
Yeah.
Now you're getting it. It's like it's an echelon thing, right? Like
from your explanation, all that told me is it's too expensive. And me and my company, I'm just gonna yell it out loud.
Right.
I'm not even gonna PA.
Yeah,
I was like, can you hear me? Just get closer.
That's why he said doctors. He pointed to his nose. He's like, not for you. It's not for you, Walmart daddy with your homeless beard.
No.
My ex-wife is chained to a tree right now, talking to the goddamn radio.
Listen, if you can hop over your fence.
They hate me.
Yeah, and they do hate you. They'll put her on. They'll be like, it's his ex-wife.
Yeah, Tunnel's out there interviewing her.
Yeah.
The basic math
they're giving her money. He's naked. He's got his hog out.
I think the basic math is if you can jump over your backyard fence and go roller skating, you can't afford it.
That's a good joke.
Got him.
Only because you've known me for 25 years. I'll say that.
Got him.
That's a solid joke.
So, and then is it like, how big's a crew that you rolling with to do this?
Absolutely. So, like I said, every situation is different. So, like if we're going out of country, so like one of the gigs, let's say we're going to Barcelona for McDonald's, right? That gig in particular may have 200 radiators, may have 15 interpretation booths. That level of show will require 10 people. So like, and then when you show up, then you may even be in split groups. So like the install may take 4 days. You're working in 24-hour shifts, 12 on, 12 off until the setup is done.
You know, like
that's a rough go.
It's
right?
brutal, bro.
I'm sure you've seen through your job, billion-dollar corporations, and what's interesting for people that have never been around like high level corporations or like they don't realize how much. I've never even been to that, but the closest I've been was, let's say, the MLS in Orlando City, and then some other bigger companies that I've seen, and like what they'll spend on things blows your mind.
Oh, you mean our balloons? What we spent on balloons?
It
always blows his mind. I think we spent $70,000 on balloons. I'm not kidding.
30,000.
Yeah, it was an amazing amount.
But but it's like, and then because my podunk mind, I'm like, what? But it's like it's drop in the bucket once it gets that big, So once you get to McDonald's level, they just start like writing checks for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on things that you wouldn't even believe. You're like, you spent $300 grand on napkins, like you're saying, because it's just
chair covers.
Yeah, it just becomes.
Why'd
so
you cover
huge.
the chairs? The chairs were fine. Well, they weren't the right color.
So they're doing this conference, and they're just like, oh, the audio, the lighting, the staging.
They want it to be perfect.
It's $1.2 million, and you're like, whoa! Like, I don't understand. They don't care.
Right. So, like, at a certain level, TC, budget is a make believe or a make believe word, right? Yeah. Like when you have an unlimited budget, you just dictate how you want your reality to be, and then people do that.
Yeah,
and that's what we do.
Yeah, Conway J in the chat room says that one of the trade shows he just went to, they dropped $10 million for a 3-day show.
That's not even.
It was $10 million for a 3-day show, and I think that, like Corey's saying, that's a small show.
It just doesn't matter. That it doesn't. They have unlimited money, and it's just coming in faster. It's like,
and a lot of it is earmarked for that, right? Like
absolutely.
That's the budget for
tax breaks. Yeah. Like it's wild. Like how much money you get back in tax breaks from like doing conventions and it's wild.
And it's easy for an employee of this giant corporation to spend the corporation's money. So it's almost like funny money that does not even exist.
That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't exist. It's just digital numbers.
It's numbers. It's not your money. You're spending the company's money.
Do you remember when we had the credit card for Orlando City? True story. And then we were doing murals around the town. And when we needed a bucket truck that we did not use, we did not use that bucket truck. We swiped that bucket truck. We rented it. They brought it down there, and then they took it away, and it was never used.
Yeah, $1,200. And I remember I was like, "You wasted $1,200." They're like, "Well,
it's not really a waste."
They didn't care. They're like, "Well, you tried. It was a great thought, guys. Good job." I was like, "Well, we thought we just flushed $1,200 down the drain, and now we got this Mexican guy yelling at us because we got it stuck. Remember that? We got it stuck. We put a bucket truck in a really bad area, and we're blocking part of the road."
That's how you're a small town poor. $1,200.
Yeah,
that's my mortgage. Anyway,
amazing. What can somebody doing this, like, how do you get into this job? Like, if you wanted to, like, let's say somebody's hearing this. I think most of our listeners are hearing this, and they go, like, this is a very cool job.
Never even knew this existed, by the way.
So, in order to get into this, you would either have to take, like, a vocational class and learn the audio engineering for infrared, distribution, or get a job like any other journeyman. Start at the bottom, try to get in on a crew somewhere, just be a grunt, handle the load-in, the heavy lifting, all that jazz, and you got to do that for a long time, which, is never great, and people don't like that. But it's hard to get in and do something like this because of that reason. So, like, if you really wanted to become an IR tech, you would have to like go find a job with a company that already has the equipment. So when you are, not doing your job stuff and you have downtime, you can mess around with the equipment and learn that way. Outside of that, man, it's so specialized. Like you have to Did
you fall into it? Like, can we ask how you got?
Yeah. I was working for a local audio firm here in Orlando, and they had the equipment. That's how I learned. That's it.
And you're just like, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's this.
Right.
Why instead of like infrared digitally shooting the signal to a receiver, why not just have it where you're wearing headphones and it's on some closed circuit? Is that too easy?
No, that's exactly what it is. It's a closed circuit with light. That's it. You just described it.
Well, I think what you're asking is why not just do it not using light?
Yeah, like
what's
Wi-Fi.
The benefit?
Because any other source
unsecure.
It's just too easy to capture. If it was a Bluetooth signal,
it's hackable, right?
Everything is recordable unless you have specialized equipment that can pick up this digital light source.
So in order,
and wiring it would be too hard.
What,
too
are you
much
going to put 2,000 wires on the ground leading out the audience? That doesn't work now.
Yeah.
So it's like a good wire.
I'm a wireman.
Can you imagine walking
Who doesn't like a wire?
That's spaghetti
in our business, wires matter. Okay, all
Gotcha.
wire. Write down all wires matter.
And I like covering up with the outside sticky square. It's really everywhere. It's just,
Right.
it's not that.
But everything's moving that way. It's going to be less wires. Everything moving forward in the future will be like everything that you have here in the studio is all connected with a wire.
Yeah.
Soon, in the next 5 to 10 years, that'll all be gone. It'll be all changed.
You could take the wires out of my cold dead.
I'm not giving him my wires. I am not giving. I'm pro wires. I can't.
We'll die with these wires.
I'm glad you waited to the end of the segment to start
Sorry,
popping up
my
your
bad.
liberal wireless. I almost said B.
I know. I'm sorry.
Your
Sorry.
liberal wireless crap. I am so anti-wireless headphones.
I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, we'll whip you with these wires.
Whoa.
You know where you are, boy? You're in Wireland. We don't do no goddamn wireless.
You know what? We should start changing the colors on these wires. Maybe, brighten them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
My wires are red, white, and blue. Tell you that right now. Tell you that right now.
So now we'll get to the uncomfortable question. And if people in your line of work, is this a lucrative position?
That was a really nice way of asking it. I can always tell when you actually respect the guest.
It was for a period of time.
By the way, anybody who knew me 25 years ago, I will never respect you. Because that means that you are somehow in my circle, and I don't respect myself.
Right.
So that means you're too close to me.
You're lower than me.
Yeah. I can't
I
respect
understand
you.
what
I'm
you're
sorry.
saying.
So this is one of the industries that was heavily affected during the COVID era. Think about what convention spaces and how many conventions were happening before COVID. Post-COVID, the number is fractional.
Okay.
So if there's less events happening, there's less opportunity.
Yeah.
And if there's less opportunity, we're working way less.
Yeah, I understand.
Because there are other technicians throughout the country, right? So, like, it's not just me doing it. Like, and the companies are really cool about, like, sharing the workload, right? Like, yes, each company has a very selected stable of technicians that they go to first.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, I am in that group with several companies. So sometimes I have to turn jobs down, and that's a luxury in today's market.
Gotcha.
But I'm still not doing as well as I was. You know what I mean? Like, the market has shifted a bit.
Yeah.
So my day rate has gone up, but the workload is way less than it used to be. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because of COVID and like Zoom and stuff, but there's still, I guess higher level companies probably have some secured version of Zoom that is virtually unhackable, right? So they can speak to each other,
I mean, virtually unhackable is the key word, right?
Virtually.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what you would cue in on, and I don't know. It would depend on. I mean, I know just from the little bit of the industry we were in how cutthroat it is. So I would imagine in other industries it's very cutthroat. You know, like you're stealing people's secrets and trying to find things out.
Although it can't be that much of a secret, they're letting Corey listen.
That's
to it.
right. I know all the secrets.
Corey,
It's still bothering you that he's not telling all his friends.
He could be.
He wants you to be taking advantage of all of this and become rich, Corey. They're all the secrets.
No, you just you don't even have to do anything. You just have to tell me. You see what I'm saying? and then one day you get a suitcase. You see what I'm saying? That's all you need to do.
Secret Service shows up at my door and they're like, so we heard you said something to Thomas Van about yada, yada, yada.
I get interviewed by a Secret Service agent, and I will tell you it's very boring, and it's not at all intimidating at all. It's scary because he's Secret Service, but he's a very nice man.
I used to be really nervous around those guys, but now it's, after working a few years at the UN stuff with them, they're wicked cool.
Yeah.
They're all just normal dudes, man. They're like normal dudes. And I think the Secret Service dudes that I interacted with, particularly, these were Biden's crew. Those guys seemed more real than like police officers or military personnel that I've interacted with. Like, they seemed more personable. Like, they were like more like a butler with firearms.
Yeah.
Ooh, gun butler.
Yeah, gun butler.
Because
Love the idea of a gun butler.
There's only been a handful in history
Right.
that have actually had to do something like an emergency
Right.
scenario. You know,
But-
like most of the time
You're
you're
talking
standing
about all
around.
police officers, right?
That was-
No, Secret Service. You
Yeah,
know,
that was the big takeaway, though.
Yeah.
They're just like normal people doing a very high-level security job.
Yeah.
Any of them got beer bellies?
No, negative.
Yeah, they can't
No.
have that, right?
They're taking.
You
Well,
can't have like the president's staff can't have like a big. You can't have like a norm.
Yeah,
you know, like,
no,
like
because
from Cheers out there.
it's just a public perception. But
Yeah.
most of they're just standing there.
Yeah,
you know, like,
right.
then you can't find your gun.
right.
Where is it?
Anyway, sorry. Corey, thanks so much for coming in.
That was a great one, man.
Thank
the
you,
chat
dude.
room absolutely loved it.
Thanks.
It's one of the more interesting weird jobs that we have. I mean, they can't all be, and we can't all be tugboat captains. Good Lord.
No.
Every week, tugboat this, tugboat that. We got to throw some science in there every once in a while.
Hey, before you guys go though, if you guys, I also am an artist, and if you guys want to check
Please,
out,
please.
I do like psychedelic abstract stuff, and my website is doobtube.art.
And it's beautiful art, too. He gave us a
Yeah,
couple
man.
pieces. Thank you
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, the YouTube's doing really well too. I went from like 300 subscribers to like almost 4,000 in like
Nice.
3 weeks. So
That's
like
fantastic,
the numbers
man.
are jumping real quick. It's doing
well
really,
done.
really, really well.
The psychedelic art. Do you have to be on psychedelics?
Well,
when you're
I may
creating
have
it?
to come back because I believe this is a corporate time show, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you can say
yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
The
We're
FCC
both
doesn't
addicted to
exist.
drugs.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
want to
know.
say the S word? Say
But
it.
if you want to hear the real, I should probably do it on like a BDM or
Gotcha.
a free show because I can talk about it at length, but it's not meant for like corporate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
Can you get me and Daniel some? We've been looking for it.
Yeah.
I may know a guy, I may not.
All right.
Yeah,
all
all
right.
right.
That means you do.
I know what that means.
And we'll be in touch about the info. This is the closest I got.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were like at some NFL coaches conference, and then you're like, they're firing Stefanski. I'm like,
Yeah.
go. Everybody I know, I'll be
I
like,
swear to
"Better."
God, in my brain, I had queued up NFL coach firing in my effing brain,
Yeah.
and you said it.
I don't know why I chose Stefanski. But
Yeah, well,
anyway.
that threw me off a little. I don't even know who that is.
The Browns had a good.
Thank you again for coming
Yeah,
in,
man.
man.
Thanks
We
for having me,
appreciate
guys. It was a pleasure.
Guys, we will see you tomorrow.